Hey, what's up, everybody? Thank you for joining me here today. Everyone who's out there in the chat. Hey, Ring. Hey, Connor. Hey, Cindine. How you doing? Friday best day. Got the boys and Dylan's. Oh, you know what I just remembered comes out today too is the next episode of Food Wars. Oh shit! What a day. Hope you guys are doing well. That last little bit of coffee. Hey Liz, how you doing? Skycat, Wonder Dane. Hello everybody. Thank you for joining me here today on this beautiful Friday. We want more Wraithen, of course. Haven't seen last night's Boys episode yet. I'm excited. I haven't seen any of the show at all. It's like one of those things that I just have kind of waiting on the docket. Ow. Ugh, everyone says it's quite good. I have a lot of friends who are like, watch the show, you're really gonna like it. I told you guys that our friend Liz's good friend's husband is an assistant editor on that show, and was showing us some of the stuff that he did. It's just so interesting to like. I kind of hear about it from the inside. The entertainment industry is wild, obviously. Anyway, boys is so good. Having trouble drinking milk. Oh god. Came here from the link in the new launcher. Oh shit. Yeah, in case you guys don't know, which there's no way that you would know. Ring and JU and a bunch of other people are working on like a proprietary launcher for us for special edition, which I think will be super fucking cool. Halgari, I saw you're in here too. We're gonna build out this like kind of this launcher with some of these features, and then approach you guys about it to see if there's anything that you liked, or like if you maybe like this is like a weird question. Do you have any plans to use Wabbajack as like a launcher, or do you want to keep it purely within the scope of like installation? That also might even be such like a strange out of left field question that you might not have an answer, in which case I totally understand. But we were thinking that, I mean, the whole Ring, correct me if I'm wrong, but the whole kind of purpose is to design something that's like relatively open source, that we can kind of, anyone can use it, right? So yeah, so I mean, so what I'm thinking here is that, so we have kind of like a pipeline planned at the moment to get it working for us. And I figure at that point, if we have something functional, well, this is not my work either. I can't speak for it, so you have to talk with Ring. But we were thinking it might be possible to just like build something out and then approach you with it and say, hey, look at how this works. Maybe there'd be like a way for you guys to use what we already put together or something like that. We'll figure it out. Yes or no? We're probably getting ahead of myself, but it is already like extremely functional, which was like insanely gnarly to me. I mentioned it to Ring, and then within like a day there was like a functional installer or launcher. So for anyone else in the chat, what I'm doing today is sorting old tickets. We'll do other stuff that's not just this, because this might be a little bit dry, but essentially what I have here is a massive backlog of tickets. Yeah, like get like a news source feed. IRL ENBs being weird. My shirt is glitching colors. Really? Idea behind Azure Start. I figured it'd be a better idea to keep launching and downloading the same program. Yeah, I mean, it makes perfect sense to me too. It's already a platform for, you know, installing these lists, and it would just like it's like you install it and then you launch it from there, and it almost looks and feels like a launcher already, so I could see it fitting well. But you and I discussed that already. But anyway, so we have a big old backlog of Jira tickets here, 1,000 deep, I believe, that were all built out as, you know, potential things to do for Legendary Edition. So what I'm going to be doing today is going through and essentially, like, some of these tickets, we can't just get rid of all of them, right? Because some of these tickets are like feature ideas and other things that are still going to be pertinent on Special Edition. Other ones are bug specific or specific for bugs on Legendary Edition, things like that. We don't want to get rid of them, but they're not going to be pertinent anymore, so I want to actually create a new status here. We go system. Connor said you can't escape Jira. Of course. Best of tools, it is the worst of tools. I could say it's very it's been very helpful for us. My God, can it be an effort sometimes. Like even right now, I'm going to try and find the please do not add Villia mod companion. God, she annoys me. Yeah, she's questionable. Okay, so here's what I'm going for. This I can actually get rid of. I'm not going to bother to do that right now. I need I believe a workflow scheme. I never remember if it's the workflow or the workflow scheme that I want. I think the scheme. Let me see here. No, that's not it. Screen schemes. Issue type screen scheme. It's not this. It's not the screen. It's definitely the workflow. Issue type schemes. Edit. I bet you this is it. This is what I'm looking for. Yes, it is. Okay, so I wanted to add... I wish I could change the color of these, but I'm going to add a new status here. We're going to call this archived. Allow all statuses to transition to this one. Yeah, new status. Add. Category done. Description. Call these processed old tickets from Legendary Edition. Sure, that's fine. Top Hat Mudcrab, of course. Master Chief. Come on, Master Chief. I'm getting out of here. Yeah, VA is a big one, right? It's why I think about this all the time. If ever I built out a game from scratch, I just don't think I'd do voice acting. One, I don't have the money. Two, I don't have the patience to do it well, and it's so difficult to do. Or just like it's so limiting in a lot of ways. If you're only like if everyone speaks in text, you just have a lot more leeway. You obviously lose out on the cool shit that voice acting adds to the atmosphere. But even like TS6 may have more voice actors than Microsoft is behind it. Yeah, it'll have some more funding. Have you seen Russell's videos on Lucien? Benjamin Dune searches through the mod. CC stuff. It covers voice lines. Give very immersive. Makes you want to download CC stuff. Interesting. My issue with like voice acting, one is that of course you're then limited. Like you can't put any dialogue in the game that hasn't been voice acted, which is a huge limitation. Two is that there's something weird about hearing the way that everyone in the Elder Scrolls universe speaks, or like any universe. There's just like when I played Morrowind, the fact that most dialogue was like written out. I guess it was written in a way that it still felt fairly contemporary, even for our, like compared to our world, which is like kind of my point. Sometimes I feel a little weirded out where it feels like the people in the Elder Scrolls universe speak like we do, except for like the I don't know, it's a weird complaint. It's really neither here nor there. It's hard to articulate exactly the feel that I'm talking about, but suffice to say that I would probably just stick with text-based dialogue for my own shit. All right, I think this is good. Get out of here. Get on out of here. All right. Issues. Okay, now this means we should... Yeah, like American accents, that's a good way of putting it. Or like some people have an accent and like other people don't have an accent, right? Or like you'll hear people pronounce the same words differently, even though they absolutely should pronounce them the same way, and you know that this was just like an error in the direction during the VA. stuff like that doesn't happen with text. You know what I mean? Hey, Tyler, how you doing? The over reuse of VAs helps immersion a bit. Yes, I actually do agree with you. It's strange after hearing the same voice for every Nord, it kind of blends together and it stops standing out. It's very true. That is actually something I totally agree with, where inadvertently something that would be immersion breaking, like having the same voice for all these different characters, somehow it like creates this this baseline universe that you just accept in a way. It's hard to explain, but I do agree. I've thought about that before. Okay. Let's go to advanced search. Pronunciation replaces sometimes be way off for NPCs within the same damn town. Right. And it's just little things like that. To me also, like, if you have text, you just, at any point you can like add in more, or like just add in more character to the world. Like, you guys are familiar with that Requiem journal that's at the top of Valtheim Towers that we always read through every time we're there. It's really good and kind of humanizes the bandits who are living there and just really makes the experience special in my mind. You can add stuff like that wherever you want and in the form of dialogue versus just texts that you find. Why Nego is so popular, I think. Why is that, Liz? Excuse me. Okay. So these are all. Now what we want to do is exclude anything that already has the special edition label. I guess we can just add LE because that's going to be most everything. And we do not want the latest sprint. There's only like 4 things in there. We also don't want Holland status. We want to do only, or I mean these ones, I suppose, but there shouldn't really be any in development. Why not? Shouldn't change it. Okay, so now we have purely unprocessed. This should be done. Oh, this one we can delete. Or actually here, just for the sake of archiving it, we'll call this one already done. Already completed. Add info about removing optional mods. This one is SE as well, so that one will keep. Toggle enchantment. These ones. How does this work? Oh, what? Nox Crab, what have you done? Add to power lets you toggle enchantment usage. This is cool. So I'm going to add that to special edition. I'm going to add a little note here. Nox Crab's tweaks on SE. For those of you who don't know, Nox Crab is a modder who works predominantly on Requiem improvements. There's some really cool stuff that he's put together. Could do without 3D NPC's quest. That meant they would banter like followers in Mass Effect. That follower banter is something I've been a huge fan of forever. Just like those interactions. I do like that so many of the follower mod authors have added that kind of thing, like for the most popular follower mods. If the quests are good, I'd be happy to have them. I've never done them myself. Hey Praxis, how you doing? One of the hopes for ES6, they give every named NPC a unique voice actor. I can virtually guarantee that's not going to happen, Sindine, unless the scale continues to be extremely small. Even doing that in the context of Skyrim would have been nuts. Like, absolutely nuts. Buildable crafting table. This is something we still need to do. Call that SE. But there's kind of like new plans for that. Realistic capacity. Oh, for sure. I have like a whole, I'm going to create an epic for this. What I will call carry weight overhaul. Can I just edit this? No, 3 more fields. Here we go. Epic link. Can I create a new one? Will it let me? Shit. Do I have to make one? Well, I'm not going to make one right now. I'll worry about that later. But at the very least, I can add this to special edition. I think so. There isn't that many named NPCs. There are a lot of named NPCs. I can tell you that for like at least, let's say 700. Yeah, then maybe you can get some VAs who can reliably do more than one voice. That might be a solution, but oh man, you would be getting a big VA bill for that one. Yeah, people don't realize like how much shit there is in Skyrim. It's very easy to overlook because I think we tend to interact with some NPCs a lot, and other NPCs are kind of, you forget about. Skyrim is kind of an achievement when it comes to adding a bunch of different characters that all, it's like you go into a settlement and like it might be small, but the people in it all have generally some kind of background or interaction with the people around them. It's pretty impressive. Like obviously the scale has suffered for it, so everywhere feels kind of dinky, but even at a little dinky place, you'd be surprised how difficult it is to pad that out with actual characters. And they do a pretty good job of that. And there's far more content and far more NPCs than you might think. What we do in the stream right now in Little Light, Peon, we are essentially going through all the old tickets and seeing what is still going to be pertinent on Special Edition and what can be safely archived away to never worry about again unless for some reason in the future there's a content update for Legendary Edition. No road predators. Okay. I mean, I believe there's a special edition version. Either way, most things like this. Yeah. Okay. Call this SE. And we'll move right along. Downgrade to binary. Prevents weird light flashes. This one we will not be doing. This one we can switch to archived. Undeath, the Ascension. I'm assuming this is special edition. IRC. Yes, okay. Well, that one gets a nice special edition tag. Before we get too far into this, I can show you guys some of the texture work that I've been doing. Yeah, I've been trying to take time off this week. I was almost not going to do the stream just because I've been trying to like take a vacation, but thus far taking a vacation has just been like kind of taking a vacation because we still have some stuff to iron out with, Legendary Edition, a couple like ENB bugs. But I would like to take some time off. Well, it's hard for me. I don't know if you guys feel this way on stuff, but like I have a weird difficulty taking time off because sometimes the fun bits, especially now that I don't have to worry about Legendary Edition anymore, the fun bits is like, oh, I want to work on this thing, or I want to like get this shit out of the way so that I'm ready to go when I come back. You know what I mean? It's you just kind of always think about it, I guess. Darth Chloe, hi Dylan chat. This is my first time catching one of these streams. Welcome, Chloe. Ethos redacted. Each VA can just huff a little helium for a cheap second voice. Totally. I mean, you can just take their stuff and pitch it up and down. It's sometimes more effective than you would think. Fakeation. You know it. There's a mod out there. It gives variety. It says, yeah, changing the pitch. I didn't even read this, but it's totally true. It doesn't work as well for most NPCs. I think it's one of those things that when it works, it's a great solution, and there's a lot of instances where it doesn't work. Excuse me for a second. I don't know where my water bottle is, and I know that there's no way I'm making it through this stream without it. Let me grab it real fast. Be right back. Oof. Hello. What I miss? Yes, everybody, hydration time. Incoming gulps, you know it. We need a water emote. Too early for some Haunting Brew mead? Hell no. God, it's been a long time since I had mead. Hey, Brittany, how you doing? Ear infection's lasting 3 weeks. That's painful as fuck. I'm sorry about that. Caught up season 2 of Dylan's playthrough. Is it done? Postponed, Cindine. Call it hiatus until we can transition everything to special edition. In case you're curious. Alright, well, before we dive into this oh so exciting backlog, it might be interesting for you guys. You can see kind of just what sort of stuff we track. Why don't we pop in? Just look at... I haven't done like a ton. Just a couple nights where, you know, I got a little antsy, wanted to do some texture work, wanted to look around and make some beautiful things. Transferring Wraithen, yes, most likely. I can't guarantee, but I was really enjoying playing Wraithen. I thought he was a fun character, and I feel like he hadn't even scratched the surface of like the funnest, most fun stuff that he kind of had, likely in his trajectory. So I would like to transfer it. Plus, there's just a lot of other things that I think would really help. Right, you mentioned that SE Alt Sky will have a lot of graphical mods / upgrades compared to LE. Yes. Yes, it will. I mean, SE, you can do that stuff, you know? And we're also adding different performance profiles, so, you know, there's going to be, like, Ultra is going to have all the graphics mods and, like, super dank any settings. Probably underneath that, you'll probably still have the graphical enhancements, maybe not some of them, and, like, slightly less any settings. It's just a lot easier for us to kind of granularly add stuff. And, I mean, on the Ultra profile, like, I'm going to jam in like everything I can. Thank you for the sub. Oh my god, 3-month sub. Yosi, thank you. Yes, as Ring said, you can change these settings at any time. With the exception, this is the only exception, is the potato mode. I'm putting in a potato mode so that you can, like, I'm going to try and make it as potato as possible for, you know, the just people with the lowest PCs. It's still going to be taxing in some regards because there's going to be things like, you know, population mods and whatever that are kind of like core integrated. But the potato mode I mentioned because it's the only one where like saves made on the potato mode will need to stay there. You can't just swap them over. But hopefully it'll allow people to, as many people as possible to play. Borderlands mode. I think Borderlands looks quite good actually, to be honest. Something about stylized graphics always makes it hold up better if they're good. You know how it is. I don't know if putting my hand in front of the microphone. Oh, is it easy to run? Cell shaded Skyrim would be dope. It would be cool. People have messed around with filters of that sort for Skyrim. Shall we load up? Ivorstead has been kind of it's always my target area for the reach. Or sorry, not the reach, the rift. It's got kind of it's a good representation of that environment. Why is that? Why do I choose Ivorstead? You just have a lot of stuff. There's mountains, there's trees, there's like the aspens, you got water, you got a town where you can see how all the different textures like fit together. It's just like a really... Ivorstead to me is kind of like the penultimate like rift village, so to speak. Look at all these doofuses. Also keep in mind you are going to see people with like the population mods have tint face bug on them right now because they haven't been corrected for it. Yes, graphical testing. So we got... This is what Ivorstead's looking like. I'm digging the farmhouses. That's MDs. So, like with many other Skyrim modders, these rock textures are just a sticking point. I think these look really good. This is about the best I've been able to find. It's a combination of Amidian Borns and also Skyrim 3D rocks. So you actually do get some kind of parallax there, which I think really helps. My only thing is that I'm all about visual consistency, right? You have these stones, which, you know, let's go ahead and say that these roads were laid by the Imperials at some point, using whatever stones they have. I really like the texture on these stones, and they more or less match what you can imagine the inside of these mountains could look like, the majestic mountains. But they're kind of like, you know, you have what? This would be a source of stone. This is quarried stone. This could be different, realistically. But like this almost kind of like greenish texture on the rocks has always been like, I think it looks fine. And maybe you get used to it over time. But to me, like, let's get a shot here where we have all three rocks kind of in one here. You can kind of see it. So this here, and you have this down here, right? And then you have these rocks. They're all kind of stylistically different, and I'm always kind of like, why? You know, like, shouldn't they all be kind of made from the same stones, more or less? Or especially like the houses, you assume they're the most recent things probably that have been built. So to me, it makes sense that there'd be this kind of texturing represented in some of these stones. So I'm gonna see if I can't edit that. Even if we had to leave it just this way, I think it's fine. But it's something that I would like to do. Or same thing with like kind of the coloration on these stones. These look like they kind of match this over here, so that works out well enough. But what's up with these mountains, right? So I don't know. I'm weird about stuff like that. It's like to me it really helps the visual consistency if you can account for the materials themselves. It's why also like I like wood textures to generally be represented by like the trees and shit that are around them. Do wish the roads were slightly darker to match a little more. So all of that is possible. This texture is added actually by Blended Roads. It's made by the texture of these rocks is made by the same texture artist as the texture of the Majestic Mountains. So it's possible, I haven't been able to find any. It's possible that there are some texture mods out there. It's by Tater Gamer that might kind of make them similar. If not, it's not that hard to do, to be honest. Seems like the roads would get more worn and pale from decades of traffic. That's also potentially true. Yeah, so like these, something about these alongside the mountain textures doesn't look that out of place to me. What looks out of place is like this. You know, like where did these guys come from? They kind of have this darker green. These are almost kind of a purplish hue. They just look different. You know what I mean? Like, not from the same stuff. And it's the stone wall textures, I think, that need the most effort. Yes, I believe that is what I'm using. Peon. See, moss algae growth versus trodden stone path could explain it. Okay, well, I mean, as long as there is kind of an explanation, but even just, like, stylistically, you can see it, like, the shading and the parallax doesn't quite match. Like, these are straight up, like, dark rocks. I don't know. I could probably... yeah, if the walls were a bit lighter, yes. It might look strange. It's something that I would kind of have to... Like, they can't be the same color as the stone road. That would look weird. Okay, well, lichen also darkened stone. Well, so we have some explanations here. Maybe it's not as strange as we thought. Right? See, like, that looks really good. That's the other thing, is that the textures as they are already are what's it? Well, no, nitty-gritty is what we want. I mean, if I'm going to get all nitty-gritty on what I'm spending time on here, might as well get some additional input. You know what I mean? The water, Pog. Oh, yeah. Look at this shit. Beautiful fucking... I mean, guys, has realistic water 2 ever let us down? That just looks really good to me for some reason. It's the parallax effect on the stones. I remember that storms and weather helps keeping stone roads look different than stone walls, or the rain doesn't hit in the same sense. It's also true. You guys, you're so brilliant with all these inputs. I'm glad that I asked. Shepard, hi. I hope you had a good week. Always look forward to your Friday streams, rounding out my work week. Thank you very much, Shepard. Brittany, these are MD's farmhouses, in case you missed it. Blended Roads Redund textures also comes with optional bridge textures. So I have that installed. I'm pretty sure that Let me double check. I'm pretty sure I'm using blended roads Redund. And you know, I had some trouble getting the texture to take. I was messing around with this earlier in the week. Yeah, okay, I got blended roads regular. This is on Nexus. Blended roads redone. Let's try that. Oops. Okay, okay. So this was updated less recently. This is Wine Dave. What the H? This one's Tater Gamer. Roads, mass templates, medieval bridges. Really blended roads. Odd. Farmers stole rocks from roads to make fences for animals, using this building materials for houses. Oh, that makes sense. So basically, plot, your idea here is that because I mean, we can still obviously have things like lichen and, like, you know, rain coloring the stone house, or the farmhouse stones differently, but your idea here is that the people would have taken the rocks from the roads to build out their farmhouses and stuff, in which case that could be true. Check out WizKid's Parallax farmhouse textures. I have Paris. They're not quite my thing. WizKid Parallax. Yeah, I was like on here the other day. So what's going on here? This is kind of odd to me. So this changes up the texture. What kind of files do we got here? 8K. Wow. I'm assuming that they're redone bridges. 2K. Okay. Interesting. So Wine Dave is a veteran texture artist. Different roads for different areas. Reach, Whiterun, Riften, Soul Slime. Interesting. Interesting. I just meant the stone walls. Right. It's not sticks out like sore thumb. Yeah, you're running wet and cold. Just curious, it's been updated recently. I am running wet and cold. I didn't realize it had been updated recently. Wherever there's no central authority firmly discouraging the practice. Well, there was, sort of. Why don't we see how this looks since we're here? Let's go. Do we really need 4K? Can I get away with that? I go 2K. Why don't we try 4K just for fun? Redone bridges, initial release. Okay, so we'll close our bad boy here. Excuse. And we'll do... Let's see, 2K is okay. Let's check it out. Let's start with the lowest, and then see how it looks. Yes, please. Holds roads, I love them. Fortunately, unless you make a patch, you need holds as a master. 8K you just need the VRAM for, which is going to become less and less of a problem as people go. But for now, it's really like what's the return that you get for the higher amount of VRAM usage. For those of you who aren't familiar, here's WizKid's Parallax farmhouses. So the color, you're absolutely correct about Paris. Am I pronouncing, what is that? Which Parisien? I don't know which part of your name to say. What you would prefer for me to refer to you as. So the color, straight up, it just, to me, they stand out otherwise. But I do like the Parallax, that's for sure. Oh, WizKid. Okay. Come on in. Blended roads, and we'll get the bridge as well. Let's see, I have some customized meshes here. Oh, I already hid them. Never mind, we should be good. Blended roads redone. I like the idea that we've got a different road texture. Let me check out this wet and cold update. I wasn't aware that it got one. This is crazy. Just the idea that Isoku's updating his mods. What are we on to? Okay. Okay. Shout out to Andrealphus the 8th. We know who that is, right? That's Sacroletius. Maintain that patch. Okay. Additional exclusions to breath effects. Cool. So you don't get breathing effects from undead. Okay, okay. It's a fairly minor. I mean, a lot of people report issues with wet and cold. I've never really had issues with it. I mean, the scripting, of course, is going to have some amount of impact, but it's not terrible as long as you watch out for other cloak script mods. And frankly, no other mod that I've found that tries to approximate wet and cold features has the dynamic equipping of gear, which to me is just like, huge. Is SE gonna look like the Skyrim next gen graphics 2020 600 mod load order? It actually will, Ring, at least the highest one. A rebuilt Undeath mod for SSE. How was your anniversary date thing? It was really nice, Barney. Thank you for asking. I think that Liz and I managed to have a really, really good time amidst a global pandemic and pretty much everything around us being on fire. Does SE help with NPC bugs at all? You're going to have to be specific, Garward. 1050 Ti, get 30 or lower frames. ENB. Is the issue my GPU? That's very... I mean, yes, Phoenix. You're talking about... heavily modded SE. Well, I mean... If you have a heavily modded SE, then you could... There's any number of things that could be causing your frame rate. That's not a fantastic GPU by today's standards. I'm sure upgrading it would help, but... that processor is pretty good. It would... you'd need to... kind of suss out the issues by looking at the load order itself. Brittany, I'm very curious to hear. That's the new one by Iron Dusk, I believe. That was like so exciting to see. For those of you who don't know what she's talking about. Dynamic everything. It's called something else. It's called, what is it called? It's got a crazy name for the Nexus Search. I'll just search for Iron Dusk. This will be fine. I just need to get to his Nexus page. Does SE support multi-threading? I do believe so, Ring. Far more than the OG. Legendary Edition distinctly does not. This one, Interact. Decorating, furniture building, cabin building, camp making, corpse management, trophy making, realistic storage, collectibles, money sink, face washing, immersive gear displaying mod. Of course. It's quite shitty that he has to put the title or make it into something like this, but with the way that Nexus Search works, it makes sense. Oh God, Connor, jeez, thank you for all the tier 1 sub gifts. Everyone, a big round of applause for Connor, and say thank you very much, Connor, who is easily gifted the most subs on this channel. What did I miss here? NPCs tend to get stuck during quests constantly. At least Old Sky the Ferryman for Winterhold is always swimming in the ice cold water. Things like that break immersion a lot. So that is probably that guy doing things for wet and cold. One of the things that I need to do is give the carriage drivers and what's it called, boat people, they need to have specific behavior because they're a little strange when it comes to wet and colds, like storm temperatures and what they do. They're not classified as workers, for one. That'd be an easy way to fix it. So, I mean, the quick answer is that those bugs might exist on Special Edition, because if they exist on Legendary Edition and we're just porting it over, they might still exist. But there are things that we would address on Special Edition over time. Boom, baby. Dynamic items for everyone. Haven't tried it. Oh, this is not what you were talking about. Dynamic items. Oh, okay. Well, I was on a completely different page here then. What is this business? I've not even heard of that. Okay, automatically equips or unequips items to characters depending on the situation. Current options are explained below. Dynamic headgear. Control following in combat or has weapon drawn. Indoors versus outdoors. Weather, snow, rain, cloudy region. Okay. Dynamic cloaks. Indoors versus outdoors. Oh, this is cool. Combat gear requires armor rating. Headgear only auto. It's armor. Guard stand uniform. Laborers wear gloves. Old people always wear clothes. Huh. Interesting. Well, I'm at the very least, I'm gonna throw it in the pile. Oh, Sindine is talking about Skyrim Performance Monitor. So you can use that to check your how Skyrim's performing, but really it just, you would need to just kind of know, like, I would, if it were me, I would just need to look at the mod list and say, like, okay, here's, you know, these are performance intensive, these aren't, etc., etc. Also depends on the ENB you're using, like you said. Alright, well, here we go. Improve water detection, realistic water 2. Let's get both of these. And then also, did I grab the bridges? I did not. Okay. Did I click that already? I did. Oops, it's gonna get mad at me. Come on, mod, my mod organizer 2 is so slow because there's so many mods downloaded. No, thank you. Get on out of here. And you as well. Thank you. And then now, blended roads. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. There we are. Come on, clicking there should dismiss this window. Come on. Redund bridges. Maybe we can see what they look like. That would be nice. ENBs can tank FPS. Turn that off may increase your performance. Yeah, ENBs are oftentimes the most direct impact, even though they are granularly, you can adjust them for specific features. Okay. Got you and you. Perfect. Blended roads, we're done. SE. Call it bridge retexture. Shall we see what this looks like, everybody? Priority, please. Jump to the bottom. Boom. You are gonna overwrite. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Let's just leave it right there for now. And let's see. Using ENB, I usually run 40 to 60 FPS, depending on where I'm looking. Figure just asked instead of soon. Try many mod lists off Wabjack. Current one I'm playing is Serenity. Gotcha. This question, other than the base ENB plugin, is there any difference between LE and SE ENB presets? Oh, yeah. Yeah. LE ENB development and SE ENB development are very different after a fashion. LE actually, you could say, has more features. You can't quite, okay, so Silent Horizons is, as far as I know, the most advanced ENB for Special Edition, and it does have quite a lot of crazy stuff that you could say at least approximates, or in some areas even kind of surpasses the features for LE. Yeah. Not the ENB binaries itself, but the stuff that it brings to the table. The ENB binaries themselves, however, like Boris's work, are pretty inarguably more advanced on Legendary Edition. It's just kind of like a trade-off. You can still make it look plenty good in Special Edition with an ENB, but there's one cool additional feature that makes me so happy, and that's that on Special Edition, users don't have to auto-calculate or manually define, rather, their own memory settings. It's just a pain in the ass. Dark atmosphere, so I'm really enjoying Ominous ENB. So one of the cool things that we have planned for this launcher that we're putting together is ENB profiling, similar to kind of the ENB helpers that currently exist. So the end goal is to have the launcher make it super easy for you guys to adjust your performance profiles on the fly, and then also your ENB shader profiles on the fly. Like, we should have some automatically defined ones in there at launch, and then people can add their own. But I thought it would be really fun to just have like several different shader presets, so you can like, oh, I want to try out, you know, Silent Horizons like configured this way or that way, or have like a ominous ENB to make it all dark and whatever. SSE automatically calculates ENB settings after a fashion, Chloe. I think it's just that you don't need, it doesn't have the same memory restrictions. So you don't really need to adjust the... Well, I shouldn't say exactly how it functions, because the truth is I don't know. That's a little bit beyond me. Are there any big changes to SSE Requiem from LE? That I don't know, Garward. That would be a question for the Requiem team. I don't think so, though. Come on, Skyrim Special Edition. What about Reshade? Reshade is not something I've looked at myself, Murray. I know that there's like a Reshade combo that people add in with I think some of the Silent Horizons like profiles. Okay, let's see here. I believe. Also, you guys, I'm telling you now, please remind me. Why am I burping so much? To raid, well, probably George at the end of this, but whoever's online. Because I forgot to raid in the last stream. I felt so sad. It gutted me. You guys got any cool weekend plans? What's going on this weekend? Gonna be going out to a... Oh, whoa. Look at this. That looks pretty majestic mountains-y. What do you guys think? That actually looks really good. That like even kind of gets the purple in there. Wow. Look at these. It's quite a different texture, but it matches way, way more. And it kind of has that lighter kind of feel that we were talking about from people walking on it. Oh, look, it retextures the, what's it called? The bridge to match. How beautiful. I don't know about this dirt texture. I got to get rid of that, but that's easy. Oh, how cute. Beautiful, beautiful.
What is it?
Thank you, Tyler. Baby due in November. Oh, man. I did have plans that have been canceled again. Of course. Writing a launcher for this sick mod pack. Hell yeah, Skycap. Your excitement over texture is so wholesome. Oh, Connor, I am. It's an exciting thing. Hey, get out of here, Rain. Oh, we can look at the beautiful wet effect that the ENB automatically puts on everything. Yeah, lockdown again. I mean, that's... Apparently, it's going to be how it is for quite a while. Unfortunately. Alright, so it said different textures based on different locations. So why don't we pop over to Whiterun? Shall we? I didn't look. I wanted to see if I would get the command correct. Yeah, dude, Connor, I'd be surprised if you guys went back in mid-March. I think it's going to be longer. Pondering porting some LE mods to SE, see if I can't port my mod list. What mods we talking, Praxis? It's pretty doable. pretty it's been fun learning about all the different kind of stuff you got to do to wow, look at these. They have this kind of whoa. Oh my god. Fuck off. What was that business? I can't believe it. Oh wow, it just kicked me back out to the main menu. How about that? Oh my god. Well, oops. Hilarious. That was a fireball. That it was, Liz. You are correct. I got lucky with the first one. Bandit guard raids, sundry other immersive fixes. I feel you. For this, I've gotten the main story in Old Skies Black Reach. That's on 4.0. That's quite far, Chloe. It's farther than I've ever gotten on Ultimate Skyrim. For whatever it's worth. COC. Whiterun exterior 01. Let's try that again, shall we? Probably that might have been a bandit raid that we just saw. Oh, yes. Connor works for Sony QA. Okay, hold on. God mode, right quick. No one trying to kill me? We're good. Maybe it was the Khajiit caravan. Okay, so that looks really nice still. How's the ENB not chopping, it seems. Okay, cool. This looks really nice. Looks like it's not that different from the what's it called? Other ones. It's obviously a lot less purple, but I think that's okay. It does seem to like fit. What do you guys think? Makes me wonder where these stones came from. But you could also kind of guess that these stones are a much more weathered set of stones, I guess. It does look nice though, doesn't it? It's just like, there again, I ask like where are these coming from? Versus, you know, what does this look like without? Oh wow. Look at that. Major compression, huh? That's weird. What do you guys think? I think it looks nice. And it'd be very easy to take these textures and replace them if we wanted to. But I mean, I guess these still kind of match, don't they? Also keep in mind, we have no distant LOD anything generated. Right, at worst you could always replace road textures from certain areas with others. Right. Relatively easy to do. Got the saturation. Also, I've been trying out other grass mods. I feel like I just can't beat Verdant. You know what I mean? It just feels like the best one. It's a little saturated at the moment, but I just think it looks so nice. You know what I mean? Like these grasses versus every other one that I try out. Alright, pretty good. Now let's go check out the Reach. Because look, like these rocks kind of match a bit more. They're not quite as purple. They're a bit more orange. So this kind of fits. Which is weird to me because I didn't even notice that there was like a difference in the textures. That far only be gangbanged by 6 or 7 Dwemer spheres. Yeah, I know the Dwemer spheres that you're talking about. They are ridiculous. Mark Hearth, exterior 01. Yeah, this is Silent Horizons. We also have a Rudy. Stuck on tree texture. I don't know which to use. I just leave it, at least thus far, default enhanced vanilla trees, Brittany. And yeah, Connor, it would be nice to have like a dedicated quarry. Whoop. Okay. Wow, okay, so they are very, like, region specific. Even, like, the moss and stuff that ends up on them looks different. This is cool, guys. I'm quite enjoying this. What do you think? Looks pretty nice to me, if I do say so myself. Where was that, like, volcanic rock that we saw in the screenshots? Hello.
Need something?
She's got pretty hair. I think it blends really well, yeah. I mean, that visual consistency, as you guys know, is the number one thing to me. It's what I care about more than anything. And so here again, we can kind of see, amidst all this, oh, where the heck you come from, my friend, you know? And it looks great in its own right. It's just a, you know, we're going to have to apply, like, this texturing should be on those. It just makes the most sense to me. Riften roads. It's the damn lichen. I mean, that is an explanation, but it's more than just the coloration. It's the styling. It's like the shadow parallax kind of in the cracks, so to speak. You can tell it's just a different style. Do I still have the screenshot at the ready? Could be Soul Slime Ethereal Forge. Let's try Riften exterior. Except for Riften's got such an annoying... I always go Riften Stables, because Riften is the only city whose exterior cells use a different naming convention. Also, what do we think of these, eh? Looks pretty good, right? Looks pretty tasty, if you do ask me. COC and a Black Ridge have adding a few items so I can figure out how to beat them without getting real. Figured it out, so here's hoping. My PC specs, Ring, are... And keep in mind, this is without a lot of the extracurricular, we'll say, extra visual mods installed that will also affect, like, interiors and objects and stuff. And my PC is a... I have a 1080, which is solid. I have an i7-4790K, which is a very old processor at this point, but it has lasted me more than any processor I've ever had. It's really exceptional. It's in the, yeah, so these are the same ones as before, which makes sense. But it still looks really nice, if you ask me. And all the other Riften stonework kind of fits this, too. Look at that. It looks like these were all crafted from the same stones, which is very important to me. So I like that. And I have 32 gigs of RAM too, but it's old as fuck RAM, running at like 1600 RPM. Hey Kane dude, how you doing? Still on a 2600K. My gosh, Praxis, you and I need an upgrade. All right, where is that? Maybe Solstheim? Let's find out. Or maybe, how about this? Morthal exterior 01. Helps to be an all-powerful mage, powerful healing aura. Oh yeah. Yeah, electricity is going to be your best bet. That's what they're weak against if you can do electricity damage. Has there been or will there be changes done to Solstheim? Like hidden high expands over there. What else might affect it? So we have quite a lot of mods in the pipeline for Solstheim in general, just adding like things here and there, expanding the towns, and you know how it goes. Really, we're gonna have to take a look at Requiem's plans for Dragonborn, because that's still not an area that they've gone to yet. Also, this looks really nice. Guys, I bet the compression looks fucking great on your end. This probably looks like ass. Looks really nice on my end, though, for whatever it's worth. Here, let's clear that up a little bit. Nice. Here we are. Guys, look. It's a beautiful Morthal. Everyone's favorite place. I do like Morthal a lot, actually. Wow. Great. Oh, this person's dead. Why? Jake, how did you die? Maybe a vampire attack. Tell me this doesn't look fucking gorgeous, though, right? Like, oh, I love it so much. So we got these stones. All fits. I can't believe this is... Wine Dave. I mean, it's hardly a what's it called? A hot take, but the man's texture work is second to none. It's really nuts. There's so many texture artists in Skyrim who just are straight up like, if they ever wanted to be, they could just absolutely work for these companies legitimately. You know what I mean? Like, if they wanted to. Like, just really brilliant work. And textures are not, like, there are texture artists who I think you can watch the progression of a texture artist too. Like, this is a kind of a weird thing to say, but if those of you are familiar with Clever Charf is another kind of texture artist on the scene, right? And there's some Clever Charf work that I am not as super stoked on, and there's some Clever Charf stuff that I'm like, wow, this is really great. And I've watched him or her, I'm not sure which, just release, you know, mod after mod, and it's like you can see the progression of kind of like what they're interested in learning and how they kind of like advance their craft. It's just so fucking cool to see. And also, like, I know that they all talk to each other too, like the various texture artists kind of like sharing tips and tricks, and it's just really rad. You know what I mean? It's a really good way to improve your skills, I suppose. Really wants to rain. It does. A lot of the time when I clear it, it'll just go anyway. But, God, if this isn't the most penultimate Morthal scene. Rancid Bean, how you doing? I'm doing just fine, my friend. Going through some... Just looking at, you know, various stones. I want to find that... Whoops. That one. Also, do I have... I gotta alt-tab real fast here. The... roads. Hold up. Better dynamic snow. I have that on. Do I have... where is my other snow mod? No. Nordic snow. Okay, I do. So I think... Where's the one that adds snow to the roads? Honestly, I think a lot of the time, even when I have it not installed... Well, we'll see. Let me go through here. I want to take a look at the stone textures. Rain makes swampland creepy yet gorgeous. Oh yeah. Let's see what it looks like. What is this? 1:20 p.m. Let's go set game hour 2. And alt sky Ellie's MCM. Nice. That's quite the accomplishment. It's not easy to do. This will be 6 p.m. Ooh. There we go. Some golden hour business. Oh, it's just setting, I think, over the far mountains. Let's try 19. Bit darker still. Rain. Oh, I wanted to check out the sky textures. That reminds me. Ooh. This is, and we don't have the death bell lighting up from ENB right now, but they will be later. Ooh. Also, we need to remove all this grass right here. Treat ENB, fog mods, increase saturation, rich smoky look. That rich smoky flavor, you know how it is. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead. The stones I want to check are over here, actually, so this is nice. Someone just looted that man. Left him naked. Ooh, oh my god. No thank you. So that's a beautiful night sky texture. I do wish... What do you guys think? I mean, I think that does look really, really nice. There's this little thing that I don't quite like, which is the little plus, like little shine effect on some of the stars. Maybe we can get animated. What's it called? Glow in the dark honey, of course. Barbecue the mod list. Thanks for hanging out, Sundine. You too, Brittany. Good luck. Have fun. Hope you have a great weekend. The Scoos. Oh, look, the Dawn Guard's in town. What's up, y'all? The Scoos. Yeah, you walk, you can tell it's a skybox. Oh, yeah, it's not really moving. There's a... I don't know if the animated stars are on, like, ENB special editions yet. You know what I mean? I do think it looks nice. The problem is there's not a whole lot. Oh yeah, here we go. Stone textures. This is what I... Or, snow, rather. This is what I wanted to see. This I'm actually going to need. Okay. I like it. Gotta make sure the snow is the same color. It looks a bit bluer. Hello, horse. They do look slightly out of place. Oh, shit. Okay. I don't have time for you guys. Can't you see I'm looking at textures? Come on. Do footprints affect the snow on the rocks? Nope, they do not. We don't have footprints, the mod, installed right now either, unfortunately. How was your honeymoon vacation? Hope you could relax. Yes, we did. Could. Rancid Bean, thank you very much. Went up to Big Bear. Is that a mod yet? Helios from Borderlands replacing the moons. Pretty dumb issue I have in-game normally. When I press Shift F12, turns out the ENB goes back to million. Now when I do it, makes my screen black. What did I do there? If you're talking about Special Edition, or sorry, Ultimate Skyrim, I don't know. Hello? Oh, you're Thalmor. What are you guys doing here? This looks okay. It looks like it doesn't have the better dynamic snow shader, perhaps. So that might be fixable. It's not the end of the world either. I can also just like see about it. You can see this is like those are a bit blue. They're a bit more foam than they are snow, whereas we kind of have this snow right here. But I wouldn't be surprised. Just SE in general. Data I couldn't tell you, Phoenix, unfortunately. Interesting. I want to find the dark ones. Let's try Solstheim. No. I think it's just 01. Yep. How long you been live? Oh, Twitch tells you that now, does it, Chainsy? I've been live for 10 years. It's been a long time. It's a long stream. But, you know, I'm glad you guys can watch me age in real time and that we'll always have that footage together. Ooh. Oh, look. Is that the 3D plume or is it just regular? Oh, it's regular. Well, it looks nice. Not broken. Oh, look at these. Very cool. Oh, I like it a lot. I do have a retexture for a lot of Raven Rock stuff that's not currently in there. So we'll have to see how well it meshes up with those, but I think it'll look really nice, actually. These are the Amidian-born textures, I believe. It actually does look really good still. Either that or their Skyrim realistic overhaul. Looks pretty good. This is the incorrect... What's it called? They almost look like bone mold. They do, which also kind of begs the question as to why. Like, none of the rocks around here really look that different. So we can always take a look at those. She's like, oh, it's yellow because Raven Rock is kind of yellow. They're very excited about footpaths. It's just the seeing how it's all going to fit together. You know what I mean? In my head, I know that these are individual textures and, you know, it may be strange the amount of excitement, but I can't help but think about it as like a cohesive whole, and it just makes me stoked to think of people like having, you know, walking around and seeing this and having this experience. Clay pots look similar, maybe the same material. Well, the clay pots are probably clay. It makes sense for them to be that color. Like this. It's probably like bone mold or something, and bone mold is yellow. These are rocks. We know that they're rocks. I mean, they could be weathered a bit. So maybe. We'll call that one a maybe. Because there is also a lot of retexturing that will be going on here. Only ever played Dragonborn on vanilla graphics. Now, one cool thing we're getting for sure here is the Amidian-born landscape textures for Solstheim, which to me is one of the best bits here. Like the ash. Like, this is what ash looks like, in case you guys have never had your entire state set on fire before. It's kind of, it's a white, kind of purple white look. Life finds a way. Ash is actually quite good, I think, in some cases for vegetation. Here we are. Solstheim, everyone. Well, where the heck are those dark textures? I'm gonna find them. Scrib. Ah! No, sorry, Ashhopper. Look how well they're animated compared to... Oh, hey, thanks for the help. It's strange for a Spriggan to be attacking wildlife like this. Thank you. What a bro. Alright. You're so nice. The denizens of Dragonborn, so kind. Definitely, I'm sure she'll leave me alone. Oh! Let's see how you guys... Whoa! See how slow those go? Whoa! Oh! Who will win? Alright, see ya. Meth scribs. Yeah, there you go. Mix of monochrome and color looks amazing, right? I think it's brilliant because the ash obviously sits on everything and does kind of give everything this like monochromatic feel. But then you have actual vegetation kind of like bunching up through. Oh god. Another one? Another two? And I do think it looks really nice. It definitely looks different than mainland Skyrim, which it absolutely should, because not only is it a different place ecologically, but it's a very different set of circumstances ecologically because of the ash coming from Red Mountain. I just think it's really cool. Our state up here is on fire every year, just like you, DP. But it doesn't compare to the ash nearby volcano. Yeah, I mean, that is true. Although, honestly, there's still so much fucking ash. I'm assuming you're Oregon or Washington, JS. Alright, well, we checked that out. Let me see if I can find where these darker stones are at, just because I want to see them. They look so cool. Washington, gotcha. And I was, like, talking with my wife about this the other week, and, like, my bros. How strange it is to describe to her. So, like, my wife grew up in the Midwest. She's not used to earthquakes. She's not used to fires. But I had to tell her how, because, like, you know, since she's been living here, she moved to California for school in essentially 2000. Or sorry, 2010, 2000. And so she's been here since. And so she's kind of had her exposure to, like, you know, fires and things like that, but not a whole lot. And it was very strange to describe to her how the fires that we've seen in the past 5 years or so are exceptionally, worse than what I grew up with growing up here in Southern California. We've always had fires, but nothing like the kind of mega fires we've seen recently, which is alarming. It's only going to continue to get worse, which is doubly alarming. Okay, let's see here. 1.4 optional bridges. Old. Where did I see? Didn't we see like a on the description page? Maybe they're depreciated or something. Like these business. Yeah, because this is the Reach. Yep. Okay. So it makes sense. They're just a bit different now. Just these materials haven't been updated. Yeah, and like Riften. All right, cool. Well, I'm into it. I think they're great, and I'm for sure keeping them. I suppose now I can get rid of blended roads. Would make sense. All right, guys. Anything else you want to see in game, real fast? Did you used to have some red Audio-Technica headphones? I did, Chainsy. I had those for a very long time. I still have them somewhere. They're in my drawer. Oh, they're right here. Boom. I finally got new ones. It was time. You know? Ow! Coolest year for the next 100 years, right. That is the truth. Northern California is where I'm at. Air's been shit for the last month. Oh yeah. We have a good friend in Oregon too who it was pretty much that picture if you guys saw it from Can you not? You look cool though. Look at that. Wow, even just like the ENB like wet texture on her, isn't that rad? Can you stop? See, like, look at that, like the ENB lighting. Looks so good. I'm trying to there we go. Look at this shit. It's like so sick. Oh, let's get our screenshot for the thumbnail. What do you guys think? There we go. This will make for a good screenshot. Sorta. It's kind of hard to tell what you're looking at. One of these will make a great frame. Terrifying. Oopsie. Alright, anywhere else we'd like to see since we're in-game right now, before I jump back out to the Jiro tickets? How far Gar messes with Oda being so the funniest thing I've seen. Not seen it, Chloe. I've never gotten that far. I got this. Don't even worry. So did the burnt Spriggans... Ow. Stop. Guys, I got this. Look at that particle, too. Really nice. Higher spell levels cannot have players an easy time in Soul Slime. I mean, nothing here is... Requiem's not even in the game. So, anything you see here in terms of actual gameplay is not even close to final. Yes, there are some new punching sounds, Chainsy. Sounds are often the first area that I go to. I'm a big nerd when it comes to sound design. I mean, chalk it up to me just being very particular about a select few things. You know what I mean? Or maybe not that select few things, but very particular in general. Look at that. Beautiful. Alright, anywhere else, guys? Anywhere off the top of your heads? Otherwise, I'm going to close this out and then move our beautiful Blended Roads Redund mod into the appropriate spot. And then we will go look at those tickets. The fact you're so particular is probably a big part of what makes it... Oh, yeah, maybe. I mean, I guess it's what makes it to my tastes. Oh, looks like we got an LOD here that's not unloading for some reason. I could see that, because it's definitely like, you know, I make it the way that I want it to be above all, which I suppose is what every mod list author does. But I definitely do have particular preferences for the stuff. All right, let's get on out of here. Let's kill everybody. That's not how you spell that. Gotcha. See ya. Boom. What's this place? Solstheim, boy sniper. That now belongs to Skyrim. Wait. No, sorry. It now belongs to Morrowind again. Because Skyrim's High King gave it to them after the Red Mountain erupted. What made you want to remove sleep to gain XP? I thought it wasn't... I mean, one of the main reasons for it, Chainsy, was incentivizing sleep. And I think that sleep is already sufficiently incentivized. And I think that there is really... I think it was far more confusing to most users as to why their XP wasn't raising as they would use it. I think that even from a feedback standpoint, usability standpoint, there's a strong argument to be made that it's better when you just can see your experience raising in real time. And it's not exactly like sleep to gain experience is there, like there's a realism precedent or lore precedent, you know? Yeah, we'll see. Probably re-add it. I'm not a fan of leveling up mid-dungeon. So for me, I would remove the entire concept of like leveling up like core levels in general, or like especially not just or like I got big plans for leveling, we'll say, to where that shouldn't be a problem. But especially I would get rid of the whole like I just leveled up, like all my health and stamina and magic are inexplicably like what the fuck is leveling up? You know what I mean? As a concept. So you get to Solstheim, boy sniper, by a boat that goes out of Windhelm. I cannot exploit training gains, more experience. What do you mean plot? Here, you guys. Come on down. Over here. Blended roads. It'll be there. And now we'll disable this, and then we should be good to go. I want to say. What are you getting overwritten by? Ah, that's probably why. How would you gain perks if there weren't levels? Oh, good question, Garward. We got a couple different ideas for that. and I shouldn't, like, they're all so kind of theoretical at this point, but one of the systems that I would like the way I would essentially like everything to work is as diegetically as possible with as few abstractions as possible. So one of the systems that I considered was giving a specific experience, like having skill specific experience points, we'll say. Hey Sacroletus, how you doing? Fozzie as well. Fozzie. We've talked about this before. Actually, Sacroletus has been privy to these conversations, but I would just essentially, it's like you would unlock perks by skilling. Like let's say you have a skill for two-handed weapons, just completely arbitrary. You use two-handed weapons, eventually, like, or what I was thinking even here is like get rid of the idea of perks and just make like perk points, that is, make the individual perks themselves require a certain amount of experience. So, you keep gaining experience in a skill tree, and then eventually you can spend your experience points on the perks, which have a requisite cost, right? So that way it's just like you're not incentivized to do weird shit where it's like, I'm going to level up my smithing so that I get enough skill increases to unlock a new level, which gets me a perk point that I can then put in block, or like that kind of thing. Just that business. That's the idea anyway, just that kind of like diet, like you improve the stuff that you use. After maxing a skill tree, it would no longer be possible to completely fill a skill tree. Well, what we could do there, Garward, is we just you remove the cap on how much you can skill up, right? So at a certain point, it becomes very difficult to continue like earning experience points, but perhaps you can do it so that if you really, really wanted to max out every tree, you theoretically could. It would just be like really, really fucking hard. And so when you train, you insta level a skill. It seems at higher levels you gain more experience than what is shown, and gain by sleeping. So 5 levels at two-handed training when close to leveling, gain a level, train 5 more levels, and sleep and gain 4 or 5 skill levels. It could be plot. I would have to see, but then yes, you wouldn't really be able to exploit things the same way. Adding NPC/character cosmetics. Oh yeah, not CBBE as of now, just because the additional polygons plus the extremely high number of NPCs I've added to the game can be a bit rough. But there's been several I have here. You can see all the different NPC mods. How many do we have? Let's go ahead and, I guess technically here, vanilla hair replacer I'm gonna remove, actually, because I'm not using it. So starting with the high quality tint masks, you could go all the way to right about there. Those are all NPC mods. So I grinded swordsmanship for 2 weeks. You must be amazing swordsman. No, I'm better at picking locks. Exactly. It's just like, it's got to be sensible, Got to make sense. Have I used the floating damage mod? I have not. Normally I don't opt for those kinds of things, Murray, that are like UI elements that are not necessarily like I guess unintrusive, but it's worth trying. It'd be interesting, to see. No hard cap on max level with soft cap. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm talking about, Sacroletia. So if you want, if you get your old school RuneScape players in here, they can, dedicate their massive grinding skills to leveling or capping out every skill. But your average player is still going to have a soft cap. Having to level all sorts of trees completely unrelated to my necromancer just to get perks. Yep. Fairly new channel Discord and loving your old Sky playthrough. Glad I found a content creator. Of course, Phoenix. No, of course. Ask whatever questions you want. I've said this in a million streams, but these streams, I only do them once a week as of now. I'll probably do more once I'm playing actual gameplay again. But the streams, for me, are a chance to connect with you guys, hear your questions, hear your ideas, and those kinds of things. It's easy. Just take your junk, create stuff, especially jewelry. That is true. Mods are using to add more NPC. Tried Dragonstone. Didn't like. I've never even heard of Dragonstone. We have several. Let me show you. NPC additions, companions and followers, immersive patrols, populated Skyrim, improved roads, MI NPCs, immersive college NPCs, inconsequential NPCs, and then eventually interesting NPCs. Good folks of Raven Rock. Got a few in there. These ones are more geared towards like dynamic NPCs wandering around the world. That would be cool. That's kind of like my focus. Will this be installable by Wabbajack later on? Yes, absolutely. I mean, it's installed. The LE version is now installable by Wabbajack as we speak. How do you level up your heavy and light armor skill tree? Mostly just fight things while wearing those armors. Light armor is a bit tougher because you do earn it passively while just being in combat and wearing it, or just wearing it in general. It's the most effective way to get experience in armor trees is to get hit while wearing them. That makes light armor a bit tougher because light armor is not as strong as heavy armor, and you can, like, it's easier to die when taking hits, I guess is the simple way of putting it. Adding more options, always fitting for Alt-Sky's more sandbox feel. Totally. Multiple ways to gain perks might work if balanced right. It's very true. As long as it makes sense. We've also played with the idea of trainers who can, also like Sacroletius' whole business. It's like if a quest has a reason to like impart like a perk or a certain like skill XP, like even in the system, we could say like, I don't know, like there are some quests where the reward is that like this person, like what is his name in Whiterun? Omrin, when you find his sword, it's a not dynamic quest. What do they call them? Radiant quest. When you find a sword for him, he gives you skill ups in the vanilla game, but you could just have an instance like that where like this person either teaches you like a sick technique, which could be a perk, or they could give you a flat number of skill XP for you to spend however you like. That to me is what's it called? Way more interesting. Anyway, saw problems in through specializations. Idea lock bash, lock picking, unlocking for sure. Not a fan of trainers in Skyrim. It's too easy to level through them. Oh, totally. And it doesn't make any sense. It's like I walk up to I like the idea of trainers that you can, same thing, you pay them for their time. They teach you stuff. So they give you either maybe techniques or they give you experience points or whatever, right? In trainers, as they are now, there's no time requirement. It's as if I just like hoover up experience from nothing. Like, it's like if you and I had a conversation right now, and by the end of it, because I'd paid you a bunch of money, you now know like significantly more about some, sword fighting. It makes no sense. So I want training sessions to have a time requirement. They should expend your needs. Maybe there's some sort of cooldown. It's like you can't just train your ass off all day, every day, forever without, causing consequences. So, I want it to take time. Maybe there's some sort of like debuff that you kind of get like with spell research, right? Where it's like, you can't just keep studying day after day after day for 10 hours a day. Kind of hurts your brain after a while. Trainers only train once per level, takes 8 in-game hours. So yeah, at least you have a time expenditure there. But see, even there, it's like a trainer, like, what's a good way of putting this? A trainer's assuming that they have the time and they're going to accept my money in exchange for their time. In my mind, they should be able to train you as much as they're willing to with the money that you have. It's a question of your limitations as a player. It's like the same thing where like I don't mind players buying a bunch of follower like mercenaries, like if they have the money, because that's what the mercenaries want. That all they care about is the money, generally speaking. I don't know. Whole bunch of stuff. Inability to train every single class makes college a winner hold an actual college. Oh, we got those. That's for sure. Learn books, in my opinion, needs a cool down. Oh yeah, straight up. The having to study the books, which it does in train and study. I believe there is like a mental like cool down thing, Murray, right? Where it's like, oh, you've been reading this too much and now your brain hurts. So you gotta what's it called? Chill out for a little bit. But yeah, so I'd rather have that versus like the idea that you can read a book and you just suddenly know, have like more experience. I'm not a huge fan of either. Last 2 minutes trying to figure out how to get the chat off the screen like a dummy. It is on the screen. You can't help it, unfortunately. All right, back here to our beautiful Jira tickets. Oh, you know what? I do want to see, just right quick, we can do this at the same time. I'm going to relaunch this just to see what it now looks like. The snow textures, I mean. And I'll go back here while it loads. Undeath, the Ascension. Wheeled clutter. Oh, yeah. This one I added. Hell yes. This was, I think I talked about this once. I'd be surprised if there's anyone here who was there for that, though. I want you to be able to use all the bullshit around the world as weapons, if you want. If I want to bash someone in the head with a basket, or if I want to wear a basket on my head for whatever amount of protection it would provide, I think I should be able to. Is that so wrong to ask for? To me, it seems silly, perhaps, but it's more in line with what I'm going for, which is a full-on world simulation, right? You guys ever played Cataclysm, Dark Days Ahead, by chance? If not, strongly recommend it. Or just go and watch Seth's video, Seth to Zentach on Cataclysm. That'll be plenty. What do we got? Description, Cicero's close. Okay, this one can go straight to the archive. We got add recipes for wet and cold backpacks with an amulet. This one, okay. I guess we could call that an SE task because we might have additional backpacks. Spell Siphon. This is a cool one. You guys seen this mod before? RP is Caldwell from ESO with a pot helmet. I don't know who Caldwell is, Ring, but if he's got a pot helmet, you could hopefully at least RP that part. Clutter tools are essentially tier 0 weapons in my game, so that bad stats can be wielded without the need of any perks. There you go. Sacroletius is on it. I just want it to be, I mean, and that's, you know what I've considered doing is like, I've said this before, where it's like all weapons can be utilized out the gate. And there might be slight differences between them in like damage values and stuff, but I want the major differences between them to be determined by the material type itself. And your ability to use like swords and stuff. Like if you find an ebony sword and you're a good swordsman, you're going to be able to make the most out of it. But if you find, you know, like an ebony glaive or something, wielding a sword is very different from wielding a glaive. So you'd have to skill that up. Right, see, that's Sacroletus. We've talked about this before too. Like this is like the RuneScape approach, where it's like you can't use this dragon hammer because you're not high enough level to use dragon material. And to me, I'm like, if I have a pitchfork and it's sharp at the top, and it doesn't really matter what it's made out of, I can stab someone with it pretty good. You know what I mean? Now, if I'm a super skilled pitchfork wielder, I know how pitchforks work, and I'm deadly with them, then I can really stab someone with them and have it hurt very, very badly. But if I've never held a pitchfork in my life, but I still manage to recognize that the pointy end is the pointy end, and I stab someone with it, it's still gonna hurt a lot, depending on what's it called? I mean, if it lands, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna stab. And that, to me, that's where, like, RuneScape, you know that I love RuneScape, but it's also, like, it can be very video gamey. It feels, like, arbitrary to me. It's like, okay, I don't care if the sword's made of dragon or if it's made of rune or, like, whatever. I can still swing it at somebody, you know what I mean? It's like my efficacy with it, to me, is still determined far more by, you know, my sword-wielding ability. In my mind. That's how I think about it anyway. From the quote-unquote realism perspective. But of course, realism is... It seems like it would be this objective thing, right? But it's also... It's subjective based on what we know about the real world. Like, I'm not a medieval swordsman. So we research. So you allowed your preference to go for realism mechanics, RPG balance mechanics. Yes. Because then there's the it's if you care about balance, like, okay, how the heck do I get realism in here while still making it balanced, or do you just, like, throw balance to the wayside in terms of
did you need something?
Keeping it? I mean, I do, what's it called? I care about balance a whole lot, obviously. How does Daggerfall do it, Ring? Hey, Chaotic CT, how you doing? Not Whiterun. Come on, Stone Hills. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah, that's another big thing that I'd really like to get in here is different animations for different weapon types. Muskus. Alright, so we got these rocks here. Let's go check out the stone. What's going on over here? There'll be a fight.
That's the last of them.
It's the last of who?
Need something?
Nope. Ah, okay. Hold up. Now it looks like we've got some snow blended properly on top. It looks a lot better. It still looks like a little bit sharp at the edges of these textures, but it definitely does look a lot better. It's at least the same color. Interesting. Like, this would be absolutely serviceable to me. This looks like, you know, because the edges of the stones are going to be steep enough to where the snow is not going to rest on them. This looks perfectly fine. Has discussion of realism versus RPG balance. You go for a realism approach, each NPC should get insta-kill by a headshot. RPG balance-wise, it's pretty OP. Yeah, but see, I'd so much rather have it that way. As long as it's the same. Like, for me, I like... I would much rather have that realism idea. It's like, if I fucking bolt someone in the head, I want them to go down. The same way that I expect myself to go down if I get bolted in the head. You know what I mean? And the second that someone takes a crossbow bolt to the face and doesn't just immediately go down, I'm having an issue maintaining my my situation. Fish weapon, slap people with it. Unironically, yes. Daggerfall allows you to equip any item depending on your class, and your skill only affects your... Yes. See, I like that very much, Rain. It's exactly what I'm talking about. Really want to get Inigo in. Inigo will eventually... always subject to change, of course, but Inigo, there's like a 99% chance he'll be officially added at some point. Some chain light armor, not heavy armor, see better results from a chainmail chest and Orcish cuirass. Right, but it's like this like an Orcish cuirass, I may not know how to move in heavy armor. It may come at a great cost to me in terms of stamina or movement or whatever. But if I put on a plate heavy armor cuirass, however it's pronounced, and then I get hit with a sword, it's gonna help. You know what I mean? There's no way it doesn't help. One-shotting a dragon is pretty anticlimactic. Oh yeah, I wouldn't want to be able to one-shot a dragon necessarily with a... I'm talking about humans, humanoid creatures. If a humanoid creature gets like an elf or a dude, a man, if I get bolted in the head, that's it for me. You know what I mean? Yes, CT's on it. Player skill should matter. RPG, handle player skill through HP. Is it player? You mean player skill like your RPG skill, or your skill as like a player, as like, you know, me doing sick fucking maneuvers and left and right and such. Hey, bud. Ow. That hurt a lot. Not that much, actually. God, I love these fucking... This grass. It's beautiful. Counter-Strike, Tamriel offensive. Still one shot in the Ebony Warrior is the same issue. Yeah, there's... In that instance, like... I don't know. If, There should be countermeasures. Like the Ebony Warrior, he has mage armor or something. You know what I mean? Something that in-universe explains why the crossbow bolt was not allowed to just puncture his head in one side and then come out the other. And yes, full closed ebony helmet, which is tempered, I'm sure, to perfection. So it's not, so to be clear, you're not making every humanoid just get instant killed one shot in the head and that's just the end of it. Because there are mechanics in universe that would prevent such a one shot from happening, even if they did get, whoa, hit in the head. Mage armor, good quality helmets and whatever, all that kind of stuff. I'm talking about, you know, these guys right here who are not wearing helmets. Maybe she's an exception. She might have mage armor or something. But these thralls that, you know, have no helmets and are essentially just sacks of meat. If I shoot one of them in the head with a crossbow bolt, they should go down. Essentially. No, Requiem is not installed. Whoop. Whoop. I think you can go to Sovngarde even if you're not a Nord. Hey. What's up, guys? Yeah, vanilla combat. So what you have here, the AI, as you can tell, and like the swings and stuff, like that's still decent because those do have edits in already. But the amount of damage everyone does and stuff, like look at this. Just easy peasy. Gotcha. I mean, that's fine. That's how quickly I should be able to kill someone. Same argument. But the fact that they're just like, I'm blasting you in the face with like fire and ice for 10 years and my health is like, I didn't even realize I didn't have God mode on because that's how little of a threat these people feel like they pose. You know what I mean? Oh, you just got the ad for the Travis Scott burger? Hell yeah. Still haven't tried it. Probably won't. Alright, well, we checked that out. Beautiful. Nice, wonderful. What's Sovngarde? Sovngarde is the afterlife, essentially, for Nord warriors who fought bravely and whatnot. I don't think that you have to be a Nord, though, to get in there. I think that there's, like, exceptions if you are, like, a different race, but you, like, you know, behave particularly epically. But I'm not sure about that. I need to look it up. Let me see. Can you get into Sovngarde as a non-Nord? Yes, so long as you're a worshipper of the Nordic pantheon and die like a true Nord in battle or live a life of glory. Cool. Oh, I mean, the internet says so, so it must be it. Yeah, improved wards for Requiem, I think, is actually on our list. You believe in Sovngarde and earn it, that's where you'll go. Hell yeah. Oh, shit, I hope it's not contingent on belief. It probably is. Makes sense. It's shitty implications for IRL. There's a precedent ESO over Breton going to the Redguard afterlife. Nice. The, what is that, CT? Yeah, the Far Shore. I just discovered US today. Thanks for your hard work. Thank you very much, Jim. You can die in Skyrim like dead for the rest of the game. Yeah, I think that's what happens anytime you die, right? You gotta load a yield save. Quick as a shield and better balance. Yeah, I never understood the whole mechanic with wards where it's like a ward needs to be charged up beforehand. That to me seems so weird. Like, it doesn't feel fun. It never did to me anyway. Like, what a strange design for that mechanic. Is it a whiz run safe for a newbie? What do you mean, Jim? Also, let's go back. Oh, my music stopped. Morrowind. Boom. The prophecy fulfilled. This is what plays at the end of the game. Spoilers. Oh, Wizard Run. I'm sorry, I misunderstood. It's the toughest in some ways. If you were brand new to Ultimate Skyrim and Requiem, being a mage is the early game is probably the hardest out of any build that you could think of. There are, of course, many different things that you can kind of mess with to alleviate it or to make certain things easier and harder, like your standing stones and your gear and what you choose to, you know, invest in. However, the power curve on mages is the gnarliest also for every build. So by the end of the game, you are going to be wrecking stuff. It's just a matter of kind of sinking your teeth into it. So there's an argument to be made that if you start as a mage, you'll be getting the hardest kind of learning curve out of the way early. But I would you know, just kind of play it by ear, see if you like it. There's also resources and stuff that you can use to kind of help you out. Invest in destruction at the very least. If you're going to be a mage, you need a way to do damage. Destruction is fantastic. Destruction is going to get you, honestly, almost everything you need offensively. I would even, if you have enough magic at first, I would avoid putting any perk investment into martial weapons. But just keep in mind you are going to need magicka and you are going to die a lot. Calculated to go for a balanced route between realism and RP. I'd love to go for 100% realistic. Simply not possible without breaking the game. Yeah, I feel you. Bound weapons get good in Requiem, Heavy Armor Mage. Bound weapons don't really get that good in default Requiem. That's something I also need to kind of add. Bound weapons are honestly a disappointment to me. I can't recommend them in good conscience. Just maybe they're fine. They don't scale super well, and they're just so less interesting than they could be. Bound weapons are an area that I have a lot of thoughts about. Even just being able to like customize them for different, you know, what's it called? Like, what if every time you cast a bound weapon, you could like expend a reagent to like give your bound weapon some sort of characteristic or something? You know what I mean? Like, how cool would that be? There's so many cool things to be done there. Even if they just scaled better, it would be cool. What's your opinion on Nightblades? Nightblades are cool. It's tough to get there in Requiem. It can be one of the best. Like, hybrid classes are viable. They're just tough to get because you really need to start with the martial skills. It's much harder to cross class starting as a mage. IMO. Weird with vanilla, you have to restrain yourself in regards of whom. Oh yeah, here, yes, you will need every little bit of resource that you can get. Thanks for stopping by, Murray. Bound both worth using in Alt Sky. I'm not the best person to ask Garward. I never do, because I've always thought not really. But there's other people who are conjuration mages often who would have better input. Hate Nightblades and ESO always one-shot me. I'm assuming that's equivalent to like a rogue single target damage, maybe, guys, in ESO. Bound bow with 3 summons. I mean, if you're doing 3 summons, if you're investing in conjuration already, it's probably not the end of the world to fuck around with like bound bow and stuff, even if it's just like a bit of supplemental damage. Just be careful with your perk investment. I can't really say the perk investment is going to be, you know, worthwhile. At least as things are now. Alright. Sustain magic. Time buff spells and mage armor. Hell yeah. SE. So, to be clear, anyone who's new, what we're doing here is we're going through old tickets. If they're still pertinent to special edition, they'll get a little SE tag. If they are... Oh, this is done. Already completed, done. If they are done, then we mark them as done. Or if they are still like something that needs to be done on LE and it's just LE specific, then they're archived. And renting room options or refill. Let me see. This one might exist on... Oh. I actually think that's LE only. So this one can archive, because I don't think ETAC touches Stone Hills. I suppose I should make sure. First. Shan't I? of cons. Requiem really pushes a sword and board playstyle. It comes too easy at high levels. I haven't played it myself. True as that. Sword and board is probably the safest playstyle. And maybe that's what people mean by it pushes them. Like, you have reliable output and you have reliable defense, and that puts you... It makes it easy for you to at least survive in places where a lot of other builds would struggle. You will undoubtedly... So the main drawback of going full sword and board is that you're going to have a really hard time with dragons. And depending on what you want to do with your character, dragons are, you know... This very important part of the main quest line, at the very least. So it's kind of up to you. You can. A lot of people kind of invest in like crossbows and stuff because they're like a decent way to get some range damage in there. It's tough to take on dragons with sword and board unless you have really good gear and like elemental resistances. It is possible, but it's hard. Yeah, spell research is great for mages. I love it. Also just a cool... To me, spell research is like a very strong example of how I would prefer my mechanics to operate vis-a-vis creating like a sandbox experience versus like a, you know, power fantasy ARPG. Stone Hills. Interesting. Morthal, huh? When's the last time this was updated? Okay. Jenna, are you still working? Or is this... Are we gonna see... Let me see. Any idea when Requiem will be officially ported to SE? Unfortunately not. Soner, I mean, I know they're working on it now. Here, we can take a look at the latest Requiem update. It was very recently. There we go. Dev Diary 6. You can see here that essentially the lead dev, Ogre Boss, recently got a promotion, which has been a big time sink. But for our purposes, the takeaway here is, let's see. Here, just read this part. Mod Undeath. Yes, Undeath is in Ultimate Skyrim. It might not make it into the first build of Special Edition just because it takes a bit more consideration. The reason it's not as easy to port over as other stuff is because you could kind of call it unfinished in the current state of LE. There's some bugs and some stuff that needs to be fixed, and I wouldn't feel comfortable porting it as is, so I'm gonna call that like a later edition. But it's because it has that Lich transformation, it's definitely like for sure on the docket to be re-implemented. Does stealth damage get nerfed in Requiem? Yes and no, Sacriletius. In some cases, it's more powerful. Once again, against certain types of enemies, like humanoids, it can be hugely powerful. Like, you know, if someone's asleep, you just, like, slit their throat kind of thing. But there are a lot more enemies that are... they have sneak attack resistance, or they're immune to it. So, like, liches, for example... a lot of undead creatures that you can't, like, quote-unquote stab the vitals of. Draugr. None of those can be sneak attacked at all. Dragons, I think, also get a pretty hefty sneak attack resistance bonus. I could be wrong about that, though. Undeath mod is updated on Special Edition. Gotcha, Plot. I remember you said that earlier. Yeah, so we got this, right? So the long and short is that they are working on it. And we just gotta kind of wait. Not a huge fan of Requiem. I mean, it's tough. It makes things difficult for stealth characters, that's for sure. That's kind of Requiem's philosophy, right? Is depending on your build, you're gonna struggle with certain types of content. Sneak attack draw. There was age-old stealth archer strategy of shooting every corpse in the crypt. I mean, you should still do that just because why not? But it's not going to be nearly as effective, that's for sure. Okay. Ugh. Yeah, so this one is archived. Bad edits in Alt Sky pertaining to Undeath. Same thing. This is like what I'm talking about. Archived. Holds. That is a SE. So, as you guys can see here, I have extensive notes on holds. I've actually gone through and looked at every single thing that it adds, at least as of this version. So I'm quite interested in it. That is SE for show. How hard is it to play a rogue without stealth attacks on so many monsters? It can be really hard, depending. Monsters can be tough. I mean, like a lot of, like Falmer, you can still sneak attack. Chorus, most monster or like animals can be still be snuck attacked. But it can be tough. This, I guess we can call this SE, in that we should check this no matter what. This is actually can be deleted straight up because we're not implementing that anymore. Tools of Kagranak. Actually, I should have just put that as a, what's it called? Past. Just to remind myself that I thought about it. I'll do that in the future. Plus. Let's see. That's special edition. A lot of these mod editions are really going to apply to both. Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. You can try to rely more on the not being seen since you snipe from long distance and hide. The games basically give away your position. So this one doesn't. Shooting people... So when you snipe someone, on the first hit, the first couple, they won't know where... If you keep shooting at them, they will eventually infer where it's coming from and come to check out that spot. But if you move from that spot, they won't know anymore. So let's say you fire off a few, like let's say 3 arrows in sneaking as it is here. At that point, anyone who is paying attention is going to have some idea of where you are, so they're going to go try and investigate where they think the attacks are coming from. But let's say after that 3rd arrow, you just immediately move when you see that they've picked up on your location. You can still escape detection because they'll just come over and they'll be like, they'll look at where they thought you were. You won't be there. They'll continue to investigate the area, but you can be aight. Sorry, I'm back. Those mods are the ones that are already added. No, Capel. These are the ones that are still on the docket. And essentially, I'm going through and find most mod editions are going to fit this, but any ticket that is only exclusive to LE, I'm archiving, so we don't have to worry about it anymore. And anything that is still pertinent to Special Edition is getting a Special Edition tag, which includes all this biz. Most mod editions are going to apply to both. And really just Special Edition, because I don't plan on adding them to Legendary Edition. That's right. Do I already have this one installed? Maybe in the downloads? I do, lots more files. Oh, it is installed. Where is it then? It must be down here in unsorted. Whoops. Yeah, there it is. It's just not on yet. Interesting. Alright. So, with that one, I suppose I'll just leave that in to do. That one definitely gets an SE tag. Oh boy. Oh hell yeah. This is SE for show. This is the kind of stuff that I want to do for all the cities, by the way, guys. Like, this is why I keep fixating so hard on like open cities and like Skyrim Underground and Skyrim Sewers and all this stuff. I want you to be able to climb all over stuff. I want there to be a lot of vertical gameplay. I want you to be able to utilize your stealth skills in order to do all kinds of fun stuff that aren't just like killing things. Hey Faintful, how you doing? Okay, that's... Let me go ahead and archive that. Any sort of clipping stuff is going to be depreciated, I'm sure. Or we'll just have to rediscover it on Special Edition. Sounds really amazing. Hopefully. I hope so. What's the SE mod you were most excited for, DP? Good question, Faintful. Maybe... You mean SE exclusive? Or like mod that we can only install on SE? To be honest, I'm probably most excited... This is a weird one to say. I'm most excited for Jobs of Skyrim and Real Estate. I mentioned this in the last stream too. I think they're going to do a lot to add additional motivators. Oh, maybe... There's so many, to be honest, that I'm really excited about. Maybe like animated armory, but like the combo of that plus like dynamic, maybe dynamic animation replacer you could say I'm most excited about because of all the different conditional animations it allows. But specifically, I'm really excited at the idea of having weapons that legitimately behave differently with different animations. I was also considering saying like the Enai suite of mods that I think are going to add a lot to character building. There's a whole lot. I mean, Open Cities is already in there, but that's something I'm really excited about because of like what I said, where it allows you to, you know, the cities are now very different. No. Glass in your hand. Ugh. Yeah, animated bow casting where you can just cast from holding a bow. That would be nice. April Yoga, I'm doing great. How about yourself? Yeah, I mean, I bet. Your hand hurts. Ugh, I hate getting cut on my fingers and stuff. This should not be an issue. We're going to call this passed. It's definitely SE, though. Oh, yeah, here we go. SE for sure. This is more equipping random bullshit. How do you feel about Microsoft buying Bethesda? To be honest with you, I'm actually kind of stoked about it. I think that ZeniMax Media, the parent company of Bethesda, is really gross. I think that is it the COO on head of ZeniMax Media. This guy is supposed to be super skeevy. I think it's this guy. That or is like, was it the CFO? This isn't what I'm talking about. I wish I could find that. Okay, so long and short is that whatever Robert Altman will exclude from this conversation, because I don't have enough tangible stuff to say about him. I just think that the direction of the company was getting pretty scary. I think that we already saw the kind of level of like skeevy monetization that ZeniMax was willing to force on their products. I think that, to me, so Microsoft has actually been doing pretty well in the gaming sphere in terms of not being dickheads lately. I think in the past 5 or so years, they've been a lot more open. They've been a lot less like anti-consumer. I think that I am actually, with the direction I felt like ZeniMax was going, and the direction I feel like Microsoft is going now, I am happier having these IPs managed by Microsoft than I am ZeniMax Media. I think that there's still potential for scary things to happen, but I think I am, like I said, I'm more comfortable now than I was before. I don't play ESO. It's not my kind of game, unfortunately. That is the guy. Yes, banned from banking for life. Right. They're gross. They don't care about the games, as far as I can tell. It's just a money-making venture. They just gross me out. There's a guy who got caught on Me Too and tampering with evidence. Really, CT? New chance of a decent Fallout. Xbox Pass. Yes, I hear people love Xbox Pass. Yes, if it were EA or Ubisoft, I'd be a bit... but especially if it was... I mean, EA for the, the gross monetization, Ubisoft for the gross everything else. But yes, if it's the choice between Microsoft and ZeniMax, and also, frankly, Microsoft and other studios, I think Microsoft is not a bad place for them to have ended up. I had this sneaking suspicion that Bethesda Game Studios as a development entity will be happier under Microsoft's supervision than they have been under ZeniMax, if that makes sense. Just anecdotally, that's my take from the outside looking in. It's how I feel at the moment. There's not the beginning of Worm's Tooth. That is a non-issue now, because we don't have Worm's Tooth anymore. Imperial Deserter NPC in Red Water Den. Recognize the player from Helm. This might be an issue. Still. World Assets. Oh, look at this. One of Sacroletius's mods. But now, Sacroletius, correct me if I'm wrong, this is an older ticket. You recommended having Boovarp or Warp? Or was there one or the other that you said I should use? Oops. Enthusiasm about MSFT, doing decent games, around money with Game Pass. Right. I guess, either way. I'm going to leave this here. We need a PhD to do anything properly. You need a PhD in Skyrim stuff. Honestly, that's all it takes. You just need time and experience. Warp is basically Vuar plus some edits by Edson. Okay, I'm going to copy that and paste it in here. Thank you. Boom. There we go. Yeah, time. That's what you need. You just need time to get the experience. I'm going to stand up, by the way. I certainly don't have a PhD, but, this is something I've spoken about with my good friend who's currently in his PhD program, is, the biggest discerning feature with a PhD. You need to have the ability to understand the core concepts for whatever it is that you're studying or doing, right? So, you need to be able to understand how modding tools work and how stuff fits together and whatever, but most people have that capacity. At that point, once you have that basic ability to understand and learn, which again is the vast majority of people, you just need to put the time in. You learn stuff over time just by doing, by failing. Try to do stuff, doesn't work. You go in, try and fix it, doesn't work. You keep trying to fix it, eventually it works. All the different shit that prevented it from working, you now know about, you learn about. There's a lot to know, like with anything. It's my biggest concern about the possibility of Beth switching to a new engine. Lose 20 years of knowledge. Yes, they're not going to switch. They're going to take the engine that they have now and they're going to continue upgrading it, probably indefinitely, which I'm fine with. It makes a lot more sense, and I think it's easier and probably more sensible to just kind of piecemeal upgrade parts of the engine as they have done, because we are all so used to working in this engine and it's really good for the type of games that Bethesda makes. Mentioned, yes, for what is it, Starfield? Reworking, it's going to be, I think they said it's going to be their biggest engine upgrade yet, but it's still, you could look at the whole Sisyphus ship argument. No, sorry, Theseus. Theseus' ship, not Sisyphus. But it's still the same engine as the one we had in Morrowind, essentially. As long as they can up how many actors can be on screen. Oh, yeah. I mean, the issue there is you can have tons of actors on screen at once. It's an issue of, like, AI threading. When you have people executing AI packages, it can be tough. Like, we can do that now in Skyrim. You can up the amount of actors that can be running, like, an actual scripted AI routine to be much, much higher, as high as you want it. And if you do, and then you make a massive battle, your game will slow to a crawl. Like, single-digit frames. Let's see, Celtic music in Skyrim. I'm always very hesitant to add. I mean, this will get an easy SE flag. But, here, let's listen to it. Celtic music, Moon Song. Pause. Oh, that's right, this guy, Adrian von Ziegler. Shit, am I gonna get demonetized for this? Probably. Damn it, I am. I'm gonna... well, whatever, I'm already demonetized then. So I think this is nice. It's just, so you either add in enough tracks, like this is a great song, don't get me wrong. You add in enough tracks to where the variety doesn't stand out anymore and it all sounds like it fits. Or if you only have a select few tracks, it just sounds super weird to me because the current... It's not just the songs themselves that, like, obviously fit Skyrim because they were designed to, but it's like the mixing and everything. Like, people, this doesn't seem to bother them, and it's insane to me. But you have all these different music mods that, like, the songs are mixed totally differently. Even the difference in a mix will be so obvious between, like, one song to the next. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like with bad VA where it just really takes me out. ESO's version of Azura's Coast on endless repeat. Chapter 2, Jeremy Soul inspired me by Drama Music. This I've not heard of. 1 hour of ambient fantasy music. Oh wow. Well, this immediately reminds me of like Jeremy Soul stuff. See, like, okay, this shit thus far. So this is the best, the most thematically fitting music that I've heard from a mod. Yeah, see, like, so you guys see what I mean? Oh, yeah, this is so Jeremy Soul inspired. Like, this little, like, light breakdown, for lack of a better... Right, like, this feels like Elder Scrolls. It is thematically so similar. So you can see how, like, other stuff... So, like, you have something like this, which is absolutely beautiful. It really is. Does it fit Skyrim, though? You know what I mean? like this one. So it's, to me, this is more like, because these things were built independently, or like this was designed, I'm sure, this song to be like good ass Celtic music, whereas this was very clearly designed to be like, let's try to replicate the feel of Jeremy's Soul. So this is almost designed from the ground up to be part of like an Elder Scrolls thing, versus this, which is more standalone. I could see that idea, yeah, Shepherd Boy, where it's like, if you've been using it for so long that it feels like Skyrim to you, that kind of can happen. You know, it's like, where even if it sounded out of place at one point, even a little bit, it doesn't, because you get used to it. So maybe it's just like well, do we just do that? Totally Praxis. Everything which is included in Phoenix flavor fits pretty seamlessly. Nice. It's like, this is kind of cool. I don't know. I could see this fitting. Or like, I'd want to do like what The Witcher does, right? Where the music is very location based. Yeah, I'm definitely getting demonetized for this. For listening to other people's track. It's going to hit me with the auto detection. Ooh. Yeah, so, you know, it's tricky. I'm weird. I guess I'm just weirdly picky, but I am, for sure. Where's chapter 2? I want to listen to chapter 2. Windswept. Very cool. Well, here, let's add this one then. What is it called? Oh, this is chapter 2. Sorry. So easy for us and use to customize music as we like, so we don't stress over it. Just do what you like. Yeah, I mean, I like music a lot, so it would, you know, the reason I have this stuff in here is because I'm also interested in it, which is why I like evaluate. But at the end of the day, it is true that I'll need something to fit my kind of sensibilities before I spend any time officially adding it. And like you said, these are pretty easy. Northern Diaries adds Jeremy Soul music in the game. See, I'm almost like this is weird, but I get me, honestly, I don't think it's that weird. I'm like hesitant to add more Jeremy Soul music into the game, because he might be like a literal rapist. So I'm like, I don't know. It's kind of like, I'll avoid digging into it. It's kind of a hot button issue, I suppose, but Can you listen to it? Yeah, if you guys don't know about it, like, just Google it, like Shepherd Boy says. So that makes me kind of just like, yeah, separate the work from the author. That's what I do. I mean, I know that's always the argument. I just don't know if I am capable of it or if I agree with it. Like, if it's just, I don't know. Like, it's one thing, look, if it's in the game, like in Skyrim, like, I'm not in here removing Jeremy Soul music from the game that's already there, right? Adding more feels like it somehow it crosses a different line for me personally. I don't like Arthmore, but I like his well, yeah, I mean, I get that, but I think there's a pretty big difference between, you know, like Arthmore, he can be difficult, to put it mildly, but he's never, to my knowledge, done anything like what we're talking about here. You know, it's like at most he's like a kind of a set in his ways modder. Like, that's not morally bereft to me, you know? like Arthmore, even at the end of the day, is still someone who's like doing a bunch of work for free and like making his passion projects available to people. That's cool. Like Jim Carrey morally, but I like his movie. What did Jim Carrey do? Oh man, did Jim Carrey do something shitty? Cool. Well, what is this one? Chapter 2. Here. Create. Assign to me. Sprint, none. Story points. Let's go 8 just in case. Labels. SE. Very thematically. Sure, there we go. Relates to. Let's go. And what's the other one? Sometimes I swear to God, these tickets. Music. Fine. I mean, issue key. It's right there. I'm looking at it. It's right there. Connor, why? Jim Carrey is an anti-vaxxer? Are you kidding me, dude? Ah, man. Or like what specifically? Yeah, I mean, I'm very anti-vaxxer. Connor, why is Jira being mean to me? Why is it that I'm searching for this issue US 965 so that I can say, hey, you know, it relates to this one too, but it won't show up the way that this one did. Enter issue key. Will it show up this way if I just put it in manually? Let's find out. I don't know where it went. Maybe hold. This one. Let's see. It did. Okay, well, it recognized it. Fine. I don't know why. Okay, Jira, you win this round. Jira. Let's get our music back on, shall we? Caprice. That's Jira for you, bro. Of course I'll be your friend, JS Brando. Thank you for the opportunity. Beyond Reach. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Snowberry extract is perk-walled. I think I fixed this. Call that one SE, I think, as well. Narrative loot. Cool. SE, for sure. See, this is what I mean, guys. Like, so I not every mod that I'm interested in is tracked on this Jira, but most of them are. And there's like, here, let's see if I go like this, type, mod edition. Let's just sort by those. We have, how many total does it say? 498 issues, so almost 500 mods in here that would be on the docket. And there's obviously even more that like I'm not aware of. This is why Special Edition is fucking so exciting, because this is a platform where we could add this stuff. You know what I mean? All right, hopefully it's this. Okay, cool. Same order. Whoop. Where'd we go? Celtic music. Beyond Reach. Snowbird. Narrative loot. Did I edit this one? I did. Have I played the Forgotten City mod? I have not gotten to play it yet, but I know it's really cool. That one's for sure going in, I think. It's Jeremy, so I don't like him for reasons pointed out earlier. I like his music. Yeah, but see, like, same. There again. Like, the anti-vaxxer, I'd probably, like, not support someone's work for, like, anti-vaxxer shit, depending on, like, what they were doing. In the same way that what Jeremy Soule has apparently done, allegedly, is more than enough for me to be like, nope, fuck this person, like, hardcore. To me, Jeremy is more like a victim of the cancel culture than an actual predator. I mean, not from what I heard, but once again, maybe this isn't the best platform for it. Because, I mean, if I can't speak in an informed way, that's just how it seemed. I shouldn't say anything more, I suppose. I'm playing Beyond Reach right now. It's so freaking good. Does have some bugs and missing lines of dialogue, for sure. It's like chill out music. Anti-vaxxers remove themselves from the gene pool. Yeah, it's all the other people that they remove on the way out. And all the children, dude. Anything with kids, it's the most heinous thing you can do. And the kids, the ones that suffer there. Forgotten City, it will be, I think, a comparatively different or comparable, what is the word I'm looking for? I haven't eaten today, sorry. It'll be not that hard to implement because it doesn't require as much balancing as most quest mods do, because there's not as much like combat. It's more like narrative from what I understand. Boom. Dark Forest of Skyrim. Oh yeah, this one's no longer required either. Non-issue or past, I guess. Either one, really. Immersive Patrols SE Simplified. Swaps out some of the Immersive Patrols. This could be easy. This might actually make it easier to... In fact, I might want to grab this one right now. Call this one In Progress. Or should add it to a sprint. Or should I just call it... I guess it's already in progress. What's the other one that was? There was one up here. None of those. Tools of Kagranak. No. Oh yeah, this one. There we go. You Immersive Patrols SE Simplified. Bias other country, there's even more issues than home violence. Just started like someone really effed up. Right? Anything I see in my parents' family. Yeah, I mean that's always an issue too, right? Where it's like the environments that we grow up in that are sometimes in and of themselves like problematic. It sets the tone for what's normal for us, and then we grow up and it's just like, oh my god, you mean that wasn't how everyone's home life was? Do you think Labyrinthian is overly difficult for a College of Winterhold required dungeon? No, I don't think it's overly difficult for a College of Winterhold required dungeon. Like, the college can have endgame content, I suppose, but the idea of making Labyrinthian less difficult, I'm not a huge fan of. But, I mean, I think the bigger problem there is the difficulty spikes that are present in the College of Winterhold, given that the college by default in the Requiem is accessible from day one. It's part of why I add restrictions on entrance to the college, so you can't just like walk up and, oh, I'm in the college, and then like finish the first few quests and then boom, Felglow Keep, Labyrinthian. Huh. No, you can do lab at 50. Well, yeah, I mean, you're not supposed to do Labyrinthian the second that you join the Mages College. Like, the Felglow Keep is going to be a bigger, what's it called, barrier then before you get to Labyrinthian. The idea is that hopefully that's a good enough baseline starting point for when you enter the college. I mean, the whole college could be expanded outward. So, yeah, like it's stretched a little bit. It's probably, of all the vanilla quest lines, the one that sucks the most, especially compared to the potential that it had. I mean, Thieves Guild is also up there. None of them are fantastic. Wait, so is this just a... Is it standalone, or does it run on top of it? I think it's standalone. Interesting. Okay. When was the last time this was updated? When's the last time Immersive Patrols was updated? Yeah, me too, Sacrilegious. Started the Eye of Magnus quest not realizing how difficult it was. Now I can't use any of the college. Right. That's a huge problem. Where it's just like, oh, and just like the narrative, like, this crazy thing is happening right now. Like, you got to go and fix it. And it's just like, okay, well, I can't. So now I'm going to have to continue, like, leveling up. And I guess, like, this quote-unquote crisis, this crisis that is so severe that literally no one else in the college will even talk to me. Because it's so immediate, is just going to chill out for, like, months. However long it takes me to level up my character to the point where I can, you know, do Labyrinthian. July 7th, huh? July 8th. Okay. So probably updated for this. Makes sense. How do you fix alchemy? Oh, that's a whole can of worms, Neo. With some significant attention paid to it, and hopefully an integration with complete alchemy and cooking overhaul. Pulse. Finally caught a stream. Welcome. I'm streaming for 20 more minutes, so welcome to the final 20. Use several mods to play spell stores, such as being able to block while having a spell equipped. Casting linked keybinds. Hell yeah. All that shit. Why should you... You should be able to do that. All that stuff. Okay. So, immersive patrols, I didn't get through there for conflict resolution yet, did I? Just like Dark Brotherhood, most Thieves Guild, and College, close seconds. Companions, yeah, companions are like aight. ESF companions helps a lot. I think it makes it into the best quest line. Thieves Guild also gets a lot of attention with various mods, so that one becomes fun. Dark Brotherhood kind of just sucks in general. Complete. Next. Main version. Install. Nah. Let's go. Are you going to overwrite anything? Nope. It's... Dark Brotherhood is... It's okay. I mean, I guess it just suffers from the same... Like... The problem that I have with all of the quest lines is that they're over too fast and they just do the same shit that every other one does, where they just, you're the super special Dragonborn, like, oh, like, you're so cool. And it's just, it never really feels like I'm part of, like, a legitimate organization that exists without me. You know what I mean? Yeah, Oblivion, Dark Brotherhood is obviously a strong kind of, that's the other thing, like, precedent too that it's going up against. This would be in, not here, be NPC additions, immersive patrols. Okay, is there a separate new plugin? Yes, simplified. Okay. You gotta get on out of there. Immersive Patrols 2 simplified. Where is Immersive Patrols 1 in this load order? I do not recall. Oops. Shimon is 210. Okay, so there's no way that I've gotten that far. 211. In the... Yes, I have not gotten this far with conflict resolution, I don't believe. So that's good. Get rid of you. Oh, okay, so no, it does still need immersive patrols. Alright. Alright. I feel you. I feel you. I feel you. Shallow quest that makes it the center of the universe that somehow turns Sandbox into a theme park. Oh yeah. I mean, Skyrim was clearly designed in a lot of ways to be just a power fantasy, you know? I mean, you get like shouts and stuff. Think about Morrowind. Think about how far into the main quest in Morrowind you had to get just to even realize that actually there was supposed to be something special about your character, you know? I mean, there's the kind of clues with like Azura's little dialogue at the beginning, monologue at the beginning of the game, but God, that game is the fucking approach to integrating you within the world is just the cool. There's a singular moment where you first, anyone who's my Morrowind players out here, let me know. Hit me in the chat if you played Morrowind back in the day, or at any point, really, and managed to get far enough into the main quest where you met our boy Caius Casades. Right? You got Yosi. Connor tried it. Connor, you might not have gotten to this point. It's fairly early, but it's it's still a little bit along. So I mean, the summary is this. So in Morrowind, you really are free to go wherever you want from the get-go, which is still a staple even in Skyrim. Think about Oblivion's moment where you emerge from the sewers and you just it just feels like you have the whole world in front of you. Similar feeling, honestly, to being in Seyda-Neen in Morrowind in a different way. But in Morrowind, you were given a directive after you leave the census office. Says, hey, go meet our guy in Balmora. It's like a city down the way. You just kind of travel over yonder, make a right, and you'll find it. So you go to Balmora. Even then, you kind of have to like ask for directions of like in the place of like where he is. Like, hey, where's this guy? They're like, yeah, I think that's that one dude who lives in the back left in like the East District, whatever the fuck. So you go and find this man, Caius Casades. He's the Imperial agent contact here in Morrowind, and he's the person you're supposed to report to. And the first thing he tells you after you report to him, he kind of like gives you a little primer and says, all right, hey, you need some experience. You're, green as green can be. Yes, old dude who's jacked as fuck. Okay, Connor, so you know who I'm talking about. So what this guy does is he tells you, you are currently not strong enough to be an asset for us. Why don't you go get some experience under your belt? And you can ask him, like, what? How do I do that? Like, what do you mean? And he goes, just, go find work. Go work. You want to be a fighter? You want to be a mage? You don't want to be a thief? Like, you can go talk to these different guilds. You can go just learn skills on your own, go exploring. Just gives you all these options, like, just go out in the world and get some freaking... Yeah, oh, yeah. Also, CT, totally true. He's like, yeah, you need a cover identity. So, like, go and, like, integrate yourself within society. It's just more, it's like directed freedom. It's just like, look at all this shit you can do what takes your fancy, as long as you're doing something. When you get a little bit of experience underneath your belt, come back here and talk to me. You know what I mean? This is brilliant I just love it. I love it so much because it's playing to the strength of the kind of experience it wants to be. I mean, to be fair, I guess Skyrim is doing that too. The experience they just want it to be now is this, like, power fantasy. You're the super special guy. I'm not personally interested in that anymore. I don't know if I ever was, to be honest with you. Halo, that's where I want to be a power fantasy. I'm playing as Master Chief, and I just, what's it called? I'm a 6 foot tall Spartan, and I can kill things good. That I'm down with. In my sandbox role playing, I guess, you know what? I wouldn't even fucking care if Morrowind was not how it was, or if like Daggerfall. I didn't play Daggerfall as a kid, but knowing what it is now, I wouldn't care. Or even Oblivion. Even Oblivion is a little power fantasy-y, but I think on the whole, in some ways unintentionally, it's still a pretty good sandbox style, like, you're not the center of the universe. If Elder Scrolls had always been a power fantasy, I wouldn't expect anything else, and I would not be upset at the idea of it being a power fantasy now. The reason it's upsetting now is because it didn't used to be, and I preferred the way it was before. And I don't want change. I don't mind change if it's a good change. Make it more of a not power fantasy sandbox game. That's what I want. More life simulation fantasy world, less power fantasy. But in Skyrim's defense, it's not like it completely abandons the idea of like a simulated fantasy world. It's just like the main situation is, of course, the main quest is like very, you're so special, you're gonna save the world, and you're the only one that can do it. Oh yeah, CT, that's Indigo's video. Did you hear about the stuff going on at Once Lost Games, right? How Ian from Indigo Gaming decided to leave. Hey Morlock, how you doing? We got 10 minutes left. Glad you can make it. days when going out adventuring only to be killed by a random animal on the road, which, you know, that happens. It's an occupational hazard that is common to adventuring. So I like that it can happen in those games. What was I doing again? Oh yeah, immersive patrols. We got it. Came out of Helgen with 700 heavy armor, one-shotted by a bandit with a mace. Whoa, what? Alright, well, we got that one, so now we can safely call this oh, I did already. Alright, shit. Campfire and Frostfall, unofficial SSE update. That is definitely SE. That's not LE at all. Whoopsie. Boom. Frostfall Seasons. Oh, I gotta pee. Cloaks of Skyrim HD SSE. Dope ass retexture. Oh yeah. Hell yeah, bruh. Mark of Arcade. Oh. Yeah, so this is here. I might have to pass on this one. Just because for death consequences, we would like to get away from stuff that teleports you when you die. Sorta. Oh, it's removed from the Nexus, huh? Did I note that? Oopsie. Deleted. Yikes. Oh well. Boom. Got a comment, so we're going to go ahead and pass on this for now. Yes, we did talk about Microsoft's acquisition of ZeniMax. I want to be able to grind skills in order to be able to tackle a dungeon, stack up on potions. Hell yeah. And you know what's cool is that so the grind, like, time-consuming part can be, sometimes it's part of the experience. It's what helps it make, or it creates, like, the pacing and the tension, right? You're spending a bunch of time, like, prepping for this thing. So that can help sometimes, but the beauty of having a single player game is that it's like with The Sims, you can speed it up. You can have someone, you're grinding at a training dummy, right? But then you like advance time so that, because it's not that fun to like just sit there and like click at the thing over and over. You can just like, okay, I fast forward 6 hours. I spent those 6 hours, you know, training, and then you kind of just get the experience, which I like. It's like a simulation, an abstraction. What's this website? This is Jira. Yes, this is our project management tool. Mark of Arcade. Are we out of music? All right. We got, what, 5 more minutes. Thank you guys all for joining me on this Friday. What is it? The 25th? Oh my gosh. How is it already the end of September? Time is a flat circle, in quarantine especially. Mm-hmm. Speed it up. Oh yeah. I mean, what am I gonna? I'm just gonna sit there. Might as well use console commands. I mean, sorta, but it's not, because there's a tangible consequence too. If you train for, what's it called, 6 hours, then you come out of it with whatever, like, training sickness, for lack of a better phrasing. You know, it's like you're tired from training. Now you also have to spend money on lodging. You have to spend money on food. So it's not as if you're just teleporting forward in time and gaining experience with it's not like a cheat code. But to me, it's questionable. Like, I want to be able to, like in The Sims, if my sim is at work all day and there's nothing for me to do as a player, no input for me to make, let me speed up the time scale a little bit. You know what I mean? Just like, okay, he's there, he's at work. Time goes, okay, 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. Boom, my sim is back home, and now there's actually shit for me to do again as a player. It's like but I'm not actually doing anything. Like, I still want to be playing the game. You know what I mean? playing training at a training dummy in Ultima Online isn't fun. How did that work, CT? Was it one? I mean, it's difficult in an online game. In that sense, in like games like RuneScape, for example, where skilling is just like, you know, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to click this thing over and over and over and over again. There's no way around that because you can't speed up the time for all the other players. So then it just becomes a part of the game. There it's affecting, you know, your sense of accomplishment and the pacing and the time requirement and whatever. I would hope that, and this is what RuneScape kind of gets away with, there needs to be a way to make that kind of gameplay at least somewhat engaging. It can't just be pure repetition, because then it's boring. RuneScape gets around this by some skills having input, player input, you know, like maybe there's some stuff you got to pay attention to a little bit. There's also these like random events that pop up all the time, you know, like, you know, the little NPCs will appear, you'll get to do a mini game or something like that, something that breaks up the tedium. But if it's just I'm clicking this thing over and over and over and over and nothing changes ever, then it's just like, ugh, you know what I mean? Then the only thing that you're getting is the whatever satisfaction you get from, yes, exactly this, the satisfaction when reaching a new level, because you just spent a bunch of time on it, right? So there's that still, but if it's like, if I'm going to be doing the same thing over and over and over again, I mean, some players are like that. If that's all you need, then go for it. I get bored with something like that. Like, just, unless it's like so AFK that I can be doing something else in the meantime, then I don't mind, I suppose. I mean, I don't want to go fast either, Sacrilegious. I want to not have nothing to do as a player. You know what I mean? Yes, like I need to it's the same reason why, like in Stardew Valley, I think that the fishing minigame is good, because I can fish as much as I want. There's a minigame that is simple. It's not overly complex. It doesn't take a whole lot to like wrap my mind around. Or like Animal Crossing. I think Stardew Valleys is better for fishing minigames. But the fishing minigames are always a good way to be like, there's some way that I can affect something here. Some sort of agency that I have as a player that affects the outcome, even if it's something as simple as when I choose to press the button, you know, like that affects things. If it's just, if the only thing that I'm doing as a player is like, for like a training dummy, I click use the training dummy, and then I'm just sitting there doing nothing for a long time, real time, then it's boring to me. Then I'm not playing the game anymore, you know what I mean? Then it's a passive, I'm doing something else while the game plays itself. That's not necessarily bad, and sometimes I can be in the mood for that, but that's not playing the game, you know what I mean? Like, or that's not a game. Like, a game requires interaction and like meaningful choice in some way, meaningful what's the word, input, I guess, for lack of a better thing. And like clicking something once and then waiting is not particularly that to me. This one, add diminishing returns, you're better off doing it for less time. Yeah, I just need like, I don't mind spending a long time on something if I'm doing something, you know what I mean? Like, if there's a game element, something fun. But again, fun is entirely subjective. And that's the other thing too, is like half of the skilling in RuneScape, it's like, well, when you know exactly what to expect, you have you know, like, what's the one that everyone complains about? Rune crafting, right? Like, why does everyone complain about rune crafting? It's because it's like you don't do shit, right? It's just the same thing over and over and over and over again. Yeah, sure. I mean, yeah, you don't want to make it easier. Though it's like, keep in mind here, this is again in the context of like a single player game where it's like the difficulty comes from, to me, the core game loop is like, so if I go to use a training dummy for 6 hours, the fun part comes in where it's like, okay, what resources do I have prepared to allow for this training to occur? You know what I mean? I mean, you could have it, what I would kind of prefer, I think most of all, is like have you ever played Mountain Blade by chance? I think this is a good example, Sacrilegious, where like Mountain Blade, you can speed up the time it takes for the stuff to move around the map, because what... Okay, so in Mountain Blade, you have a big old overworld map, right? All different kinds of characters and caravans and all different kinds of entities are moving from one place to another. It's a big old simulation overworld map, 4X strategy style. When all the characters move in real time, like the time scale is, we'll say it takes arbitrarily, I don't know, if you let it play out in real time, I think going through a whole day would take, let's say, an hour real time, because of the realistic travel speed of all the different entities. They add a speed up button because for me as a player, if my character is traveling from here to the town, and the only, like, it's going to take me an hour to get there real time, and nothing's going to happen in between that's going to change any element of the gameplay. It's literally just the time investment. And I can click a button that instead of taking an hour of my time, it's going to take a literal minute. I'm probably going to do that. You know what I mean? Because there's nothing to do. Like, in this stretch, there's no player input. There's no random event that happens. There's no anything at all besides... I mean, like, it's not quite fast travel because there's, what's it called? Still some, like, you want some time to elapse so it doesn't just feel like you're just teleporting around to, like, everywhere, right? So, like, it's like a balance. But, like, fast travel to me, I wouldn't even dislike fast travel if fast travel, it's like in Kingdom Come Deliverance, right? Where, like, you can fast travel places, but stuff will happen along the way. So I'm like, okay, cool. So, like, there's a consequence to fast travel in terms of, like, your needs and the time and whatever. In Mountain Blade, it's very likely you'll run into combat while speeding up time. Yeah, but see, even that Garward, it's like, it's just happening faster than it would be if you're just going along at, like, that snail's pace. There's really no benefit to just going super, super slow besides it just taking more time. It's a mod for Daggerfall that removes fast travel and has that instead, time dilatation. Is that, like, what it's called? So this is, like, what I like the way The Sims does it, right? Where it's like, it's not just teleporting me forward. There is some time requirement, but I can speed it up. You know what I mean? Or it's stop it in case something is going to happen, like in Mountain Blade style. But yeah, I think that's way more fun. It's just, I need to be able to do something as a player. That's like fundamentally it. If there's a portion of the gameplay that's designed where it's just going to play out the same way every time, there's no meaningful input as a player, I don't mind speeding that up a little bit. I don't want it to be, like, necessarily instantaneous. I want to see that time is passing, even if that's just, like, what's it called? I'm going to look this up, CT, because I feel like this is exactly what I'm talking about. So speed it up, prefer actually adding stuff. Yeah, so that would be the better, perhaps, in some ways, resulting kind of design would be like, okay, well, let's add, like, that's what RuneScape does for most of the skills, right? Like, so you're going to be doing a lot of the same thing, but for some skills, you do get to go and do something different every once in a while, even if it's just, like, going and, like, if you're skilling up smithing, you get to go and make something every so often and then maybe sell it. Like, that's all content in the spaces, or even just, like, the random shit that pops up, like, while you're doing things, like, oh, play this mini game, or, like, have this pet, or, like, whatever. All of that stuff is that. It's adding stuff in the empty spaces versus having the empty spaces. Clue scrolls, yes, another way to do it. But if you have, because, like, some games, just for the, let's say, like, Mountain Blade, for example, the realism element of it kind of precludes anything from happening, because you can see everything that, like, in the overworld, you can see all the entities around you. If no one, like, approaches you or anything, there's no reason for anything to happen in that space, so that's why they allow you to speed it up, if that makes sense. Tedious travels. Something like touring carriages, you just chill and sit back and take in the atmosphere. It isn't interactive but cool. Sure, Faintful. I think it's perfectly fine to have the option to just sit there and take in the atmosphere, but to have that be the forced only way to do it, no thank you. You know what I mean? Like, if touring carriages, let's assume for a second that it didn't bug out all over the place and it actually just functioned perfectly, it would be great as an option. It wouldn't be so great, I don't think, if that was now the only way to use carriages to travel. You know what I mean? Because there, again, now you're kind of forcing people to do this very long, tedious way. And even that doesn't quite fit, because with touring carriages, stuff can happen along the way. But it's like, imagine if touring carriages, nothing happened. You're guaranteed that nothing besides just the scenery, and you had to do it every single time that way. I would appreciate the ability to kind of just speed it up a little bit. Any part where I'm not doing anything as a player. Daggerfall. And then with this, I'm going to have to call it Tedious Travel Daggerfall Workshop. Traveling to the Howling Griffin pub. Okay. Yes, in fact, you know what? This looks almost exactly like what I'm talking about. Also, I think this is Branding Grotesque. It's a weird font to be using here. Open Civil War allows you to skip the city sieges. That, yeah, definitely. It's like, because then it's like, wait, well, then what am I here for, I suppose? Or like, I suppose if I'm doing a bunch of city sieges, and does it skip and then just tell you the result and then like take away resources or something? Like, in which case, okay, I guess I could get behind it if I was only in it for the sim element. But I like to fight. Let's see here. Okay. Travel mod for Daggerfall Unit make traveling more tedious because there's weirdos like me who find that immersive. Click and be there style fast travel is removed from the game. So actually be traversing Daggerfall. It can be autopilot, adjustable time compression. Yes, this is exactly it. This is exactly what I want. Can I see it in motion? To see how it functions. Fast travel by ship. Okay. Is there videos by chance? Maybe if I bet. Oh, okay. Here we go. Tedious travel. It's compression, not. What's dilatation? You mean dilation? He's not streaming it right now. Oh, wow. How about that? What does dilatation mean? I don't even know that word. Action dilating a vessel or opening the process of becoming dilated. Alright. Interesting. So I feel like I've read the definition and I don't understand still. Oh god, Daggerfall Unity looks so cool. I really need to play this. Climate. Okay, where's the, is it going to show? Oh, I think here, I think it's there. Climbing mode. See, this shit I want to be able to do. Look at all these fools walking around outside. Ouch. Yes, okay, so this is basically like what I'm talking about. So it's like if I'm going to walk this far, right, like, I don't know if there's some sort of resources being expended, but it's like I don't really, if nothing's going to happen between there and then, like, I need a way to speed this up. You know what I mean? Let's see here, did I miss? And because this way, you can have a realistically scaled world, you know, where like you don't feel like you're just in a little dinky, like how far, like, I'm pretty sure the entirety of Skyrim fits within like a very small part of downtown LA. You know what I mean? It's not very big. So you can have a realistically scaled world and you have players traveling across it. And, you know, ideally stuff can still happen, maybe random events or like just, you know, here, if you have other factions and creatures and whatever doing stuff organically as well, then hopefully, once again, it'd be like, what's it called? Cataclysm Dark Days Ahead, but I think Shepard, you got it right here. You can be attacked along the way while traveling. It just makes it so you're traveling on autopilot as if you were actually walking just really fast. Exactly. This is exactly the, so whoever built this mod, them and I of the same mind on this. Where it's like I don't feel like I'm gaining anything from only being able to walk this distance in real time. But of course that's because it wasn't designed for that, so they wouldn't actually be asking you to do that, but you guys get what I mean, hopefully, at this point. In any case, boys and girls and everybody, if you make something like this work in Skyrim, you will be my hero. There is this is the last thing that I'll show you guys. There's something close-ish that I know of. What was it? It's like speed up time Skyrim SSE mod. God, I wish I remember what it was. Hold on a second. Let me bring up Discord. and see about like, hold on, speed up, because I was talking about it. I don't remember the name of the, wait, from me. Hold on. Yeah, so like Skyrim is a little teensy, so you wouldn't really have the need for it. From me. How do I, can I search from myself? Why don't I up here? What is my user? Weird. Okay, for whatever reason I can't search for stuff from me, but I can't figure it out. Witcher Meditate? Maybe? It was just something that allowed you to speed up the time scale, and I can't remember who built it out. Like in real time. Speed up real time Skyrim SSE. Maybe if I even, it might be real time SSE 2.1. No, that's just like a time scale change. Faster mod load, real time dragging fast travel, real time waiting. I think this might be it. Yes, Arendelle. This is the one that I'm looking for. Check this shit out. So it's kind of like you hold down a button. It's basically like The Sims, but see, like even here, I want to see this what's it called, windmill now go super fast. I basically just want The Sims, guys, like where you hit, you know, the fast forward button and everyone's doing stuff really fast, you know what I mean, because like it's sped up. That's what I want. It's basically what we just saw in Daggerfall, and that way you can just, you know, you build out anything you want to just like when your Sims, like original RuneScape skilling, right, in The Sims, when you sit your sim down in front of a computer and the, you know, say work on your programming, and you get the little meter, and the meter just goes up, and all you're going to be doing is sitting there watching that meter go up for the next however long it takes. And I'd like to be able to just speed that up, because once again, there's nothing for me to do in the meantime. I can't do anything until my sim is ready to go. Or, you know, maybe you have a different sim that you're controlling that you can then go and do stuff with, while the other one has the time go up at the normal speed. But just for me, it's like it almost ceases to become a game when I'm no longer being asked to do anything as a player, if that makes sense. It's just kind of like my dealio. Or like in Daggerfall in this instance, you know, like it's still taking, even when speeding it up, it's still taking some time, but like I have the opportunity as a player to like watch out for like creatures, or maybe you get like a Cataclysm Dark Days ahead where it's like if you spot something hostile, it like auto pauses you so that you can jump back into real time to like make stuff, make sure everything goes the way you want it to, like that kind of thing. But like in this part, like if I'm walking this far, I'd like the opportunity to speed it up. Yeah, or nice to have when mining, chopping wood, this exact kind of thing. It's like, what if I want to spend my whole day mining to get a bunch of fucking ore? I want to just be able to say, okay, character start mining, and he's bing, 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 and I just speed it up. And then so I see him do like this the whole time, and then I end the day, and or I see, you know, I speed it up until the point where my character gets hungry, and then I stop, and I go and take a lunch break. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. That to me, I would prefer. That to me, it's like there's a reason that it's kind of like this standard feature that is in so many simulation games. And I mean, at the end of the day, what I'm trying to do is jam a bunch of simulation into you know, into Skyrim. You know, have multiple characters in the same Skyrim game that switch between. Oh hell yeah, wouldn't that be cool? Have mage, rogue, warrior. I just want to be able to have like a party, right, and then just assume control of them. Kind of like, you know what, something that does that. Stalker, the big old mod, Azazel mode. Check this out. I mean, it's kind of similar-ish. You can't like switch between on the fly, but so this Stalker mod that combines all the Stalker games together has this mode called Azazel mode, where essentially it's like one life, hardcore. And it works because it has all these dynamic faction interactions and shit. But you play as a character. It just throws you into like a random character in a random faction, and you get to play as them until you die. in which case it just sticks you in a different character, which I think is brilliant. You know what I mean? Having any character in the game world be like playable would just be so cool. It's just obviously that kind of thing you're really never going to have in Skyrim. That's the kind of thing that I would want to consider if I built out like my own game one day. You know what I mean? Like, I want that level of kind of like systems consideration that you get from like Dwarf Fortress or like Cataclysm Dark Days Ahead, but in the context of a like first person survival RPG like what we have with Skyrim with mods. All kinds of ideas. You guys know how it is. We'll drive ourselves insane with all the different ideas. The promise unfulfilled, you could say. Maybe one day. In any case, that's going to do it for me. I'm going to go eat something. And thank you guys for joining me, as always. Let's see who we have to raid. Having multiple characters in the same world. Hell yeah. Pause myself. And who we got? Here he is. Our man, Zero Period Productions. I'm going to pause this too. No, here we go. God, it's been so long. Have I ever checked out RimWorld mods? I have not, CT, but RimWorld I almost said in place of or in addition to those games because it seems like a very similar type of game. I would love to mess with it. Sacrilegious Joseph Russell, author of Lucian, is streaming. Oh shit. I think I'm gonna raid Zero Period just because I've never even introduced myself to Joseph Russell, so I feel a little strange. It's like, hey, what's up? Hi, I'm so-and-so. Here's my thing. You're cool. But next time, for sure. Raid. George, we know. Wait, raid Zero Period Productions. There it is. All right, guys. Thank you for joining me. As always, you know, I really do appreciate it. I hope you guys had an awesome week, and I hope you have an even more awesome weekend. And I will see you next week in the next stream. Sound good? All right. See you guys later. Bye.